What's going on, everybody? Greetings to everybody this morning. Greetings to everybody on YouTube. I got people over on Instagram on this side. Welcome to the Lapeef Network. If you are on Instagram, what I need you to do right now is head over to the Lapeef Network on YouTube and subscribe. Okay, I am Trigger Mike of the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network. How y'all doing this lovely Thursday? Thursday is that day. That Thursday is one hell of a media day. I think on all social platforms, Thursday is kind of hitting like that. All right, so that's how we're going to do it. Okay, salute to the viewers everywhere, nationwide, international, everybody that's watching this on. If you caught my Facebook post, click that link. It'll bring you over to YouTube. If you're on Instagram watching right now, I'm going to do the monologue on Instagram, but then I want to move you over to YouTube, okay? All right. Welcome to everybody. Salute to you. We got a banger today. I want everybody that can to participate on this topic. All right. So salute to everybody. We got people in the UK watching. We have people over in Africa watching. We are lit over here on the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network. Greetings to everybody. How y'all doing today? Those of you that are notorious for coming into this without hitting the like button, you know you're wrong. Go ahead and show your support and hit that like button right now. Hit that like button, get those likes all the way up for the YouTube algorithm so they know to place our video higher in the queue for others to watch. Let your friends know this is what you're watching this morning. You can't do much for us. If you can't, what I need for you to do is hit that like button. It's free. That's another way to show your support. Also, shout out to the sponsor, Tiege Hanley. Okay. 30% off plus a free gift. Link is in the description at the bottom. Tiege Hanley products are awesome. You see the advertisement for them on the Lapeef Let's Talk show, which is coming on tonight, by the way. So make sure you check that out. All right. Those of you who haven't already, hit that like button. Y'all are notorious for that one. Subscribe to the Lapeef Network if you have not. Okay. Subscribe if you have not. Hit that subscribe button if you have not done that. If you are brand new, hit that subscribe button. And if you are already a subscriber, hit that share button. Okay. Hit that, the join button, and also share this out to your people. Now, I know y'all like to support y'all people. I know you want to support your people. So make sure you do so by the form of super chat if you can. We always appreciate your super chats. It really helps the network out. And I know you want to support your people. Respond in the chat with super chats. And we'll get it going that way. We appreciate you, and we know you want to support your people, and that's a way you can do it. If you're watching when the broadcast is over, you can also send a super thanks, and we really appreciate that too. All right. So who we got in the chat this morning before we get on this good topic today? Omega Dreads, what's going on? He just said flat out, build a new one. Mr. Marriage, Politics, and Sports, what's going on? Ghost 911, GA, Sunny Q Soul, what's up? Jay Daniels, what's going on? John Washington, Tina, Ev, Mo B 217, 217, what's up? K, what's going on? Bath Shua, how you doing? Andre Cable, Black women are the new men. What a name. What a name. Okay, what a name. OG Lee, how you doing? Furious Styles, 455, what's going on? Daryl Long, what's up? What's up? Marcus Jennis, what's up? OG Lee, Jim Brown. We got a packed house. We got a packed house over here today. Okay. Anthony Realism, what's going on? Rico 5377, what's going on? The Black community in its current form is the Titanic. At this point, the best thing to do is find the people smart enough to find a lifeboat and build a new ship. You kind of jumped the gun on my thesis, but I'm not going to argue with you on that. Brandon E, what's up? E Chanel, how you doing? Trace Westmoreland, how you doing? Alonzo, Jim Brown, Mother J, what's going on? Always love your perspective. You never jump on my channel, Mother J. I'm going to need you to jump in on this. The Trigger Mike Show wants to see you live on cam, okay? Black Manta, what's up? Damn, we got a lot of people in here. I'm going to be shouting the chat out all day. Hey, make sure y'all keep the juice flowing, man. Support this show and the channel. Send super chats if you can. We're going to get this thing started because this is one hell of a topic. This is one hell of a topic, and I'm going to do this monologue again on the Instagram channel. Then I'm going to move y'all over to YouTube once we get into the panel. So thank y'all for participating today on the Trigger Mike Show. Okay, so today's topic is save the Black community or build a new one. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? What are your opening thoughts if you haven't shared them already? What are your opening thoughts? This is something that has come up on the panel several times. It has come up, out there in the ether. People are calling it a communità. They don't even like the word community anymore for whatever is here. All right, for whatever we got. They don't even like to use the word community anymore. It's a lack of community, it seems like. But that begs the question. It made me ask the simple question, just a simple question. Save the Black community or build a new one? I hear a lot of dudes say they want to save the Black community, that they want to go in the hood and do all this great work and rebuild stuff. And that's their ideology. I'm not going to knock them for it. But sometimes I just wonder, maybe you're going about it the wrong way. Maybe other proposals need to be heard on this because your heart is in the right place, but your methods might be misplaced. I'm just saying. I worked in health administration my whole professional career and health education. And I can tell you, sometimes your ideology is what's incorrect. Your motivation may be correct, but the ideology and the methods that you're using, it might be misplaced. You might want to think about something new. So obviously, if you know anything about me, and if you watch my show regularly, you already know what side I'm on. But let me make, instead of just flat out say build a new one, instead of just come out and saying that to you, I want to tell you why I don't believe that the old community can be saved. I think there's a lot of work to be done there to bring people over to the other side, if we can. A lot of work to be done on that front. All right. There are too many negative stigmas associated with Black people. If you believe that and you suffer almost daily from the negative stigmas associated with Black people, put a 1 in the chat. This is real spill right here. This is real spill. If you suffer from the negative stigmas associated with Black people, put a 1 in the chat. It's about to be a sea of ones going over here. There are too many negative stigmas associated with Black people. I'm so used to it, I'm numb at this point. There's a numbness to my existence now. Okay? That spring break incident, that was the big thing over the weekend, right? That spring break incident in Miami that was all over the news is just another reason, another example of some of the negative stigmas that will continue to be placed on Black people. Now, I have to say this. Now, this might be a contentious show because we're going to get down to the bottom of some stuff, and I'm not going to hold back any of my opinions. Too many Black people behave as if these stigmas just exist as a method of profiling or marginalizing Black people. Too many Black people believe that these stigmas just exist and that they're just racist and it's just profiling and marginalizing Black people. That is incorrect. That is incorrect. All right. Unfortunately, Black people reinforce and validate these stigmas almost every chance we get, to the point where we can't even have any breathing room to rebuild our image. What do y'all think about that? You don't even have a span of time long enough between incidents that you can rebuild your image. For those of you that think, yeah, save the community, let me know what you think about what I just said. Is it possible to rebuild your image in the face of all these stigmas that keep getting reinforced and validated over and over again by the worst of us? How is it possible? You let me know. I don't have all the answers. But let's continue. So, what are some of these stigmas that I talk about? Y'all let me know. Y'all are the people. I'm here for you. I don't want to just be in an echo chamber. Y'all let me know some of these stigmas that are associated with black people, some of the worst ones that you believe you suffer from. What are some of the worst stigmas you believe black people suffer from and that you suffer from personally? What do you think? What do you believe people think about us as a people? And I mean everybody. Skin, phenotype. What do you believe people think about us? Let me see. Mother J said, ghetto, loud. We've heard that. Weak minds. That's deep. Ratchet. Okay. We lazy. Ooh, Jordan Landry said, lazy, loud, and lustful. That's a big one. Aggressive. Yeah. So we on the same page. Unintelligent and violent. People speaking the truth to y'all today. These are their words, not mine. Non-ability to serve. Uneducated. Small-minded. Ghetto. Dangerous. Section 8 vouchers. Willfully ignorant. These are the people. Argumentative. These are the people and their experiences. We're not just out here. These are real people with real feelings, with intelligence and able to make accurate discernments on how they experience things in life. This is not an echo chamber of people. These are real black people telling you how they think the world perceives them. Emotionally damaged, following Satan's will. Damn, that's deep. Vulgar, uneducated, bad with money, hypersexual. I've heard that too, Miss Jill. Cannot speak proper language and ignorant. Oh, y'all getting in there. Gun violence, baby machines. Phenotype second or first. Let's say both. Let's say brown paper bag. Let's go how they perceive us as black, what they call black. So we can go all the way down with it. Brown paper bag test. Entitled, stupid. Let's go. Y'all are with me. We on the same page. I think y'all want to build a new one. Scammers, tunnel vision, selfish. I feel everything you feel. No lie. I feel everything you feel. We got to stop it somehow. We got to stop it. People think that black people are lazy, violent, aggressive, over-sexualized, ghetto, etc. I hear you. I couldn't agree more. And the sad part is from everything you said that you just poured out onto the page just now, I do not believe this can actually be reversed at this point. Think about it. Hear me out on this, y'all. Hear me out on this. When someone in America says Asian, what is the first thing? Type it right now. What's the first thing that comes to mind about Asian people? Type it. The first thing that comes to mind, and I'll read it. I'll read it aloud. Asian people, first thing that comes to mind, type it. What are the stigmas involved with Asian people? Smart. Thank you. Smart. Good in math. Hardworking. Short. Okay. Culture. Do you see what I'm doing here? Families. Engineers. Peaceful. Kind. Quiet. Intelligent. And wealthy. How do you reverse a stigma? Go up in the comments. How do you reverse a stigma that bad, that negative? Go up in the comments. This isn't just me talking. Go up in the comments and see what people think about black people and how black people think they are perceived by others. And tell me if we can change that. Absolutely not. We can't reverse that when Immediately after you say Asian people, you get a bunch of positive stigmas outright. Outright. You don't even get negative ones. You just get little slights like short. It's not even bad. It's not even their fault. They're short. Anyway, let me continue. We need a rebrand. Ladies and gentlemen, if you agree, let me know. Do we need a rebrand or what? I think we need a rebrand. A rebrand is necessary for the Black community. It absolutely is. There are significant benefits to rebranding your image. There absolutely is. Significant benefits to rebranding your image. So, what is rebranding? I'm going to give you a definition that I found on the internet. I like this one the best. And remember, I'm a little lazy, so it was one of the first ones I saw. But I liked it anyway. Rebranding is the creation of a new look and feel for an established product or company. The usual goal of rebranding is to influence a customer's perception about a product or service or the company overall by revitalizing the brand and making it seem more modern and relevant to the customer needs. Now, in context, I understand we are not a product or service, but we function a lot. A community functions a lot like a company. So I will make that, and I will argue that that is a direct parallel to a community. A company runs a lot like a community. There is money involved and money generated within a community, which makes it run a lot like a company, and which is why you can actually do a valuation for an ethnic group. You can say how much one ethnic group is worth. Okay, so it absolutely functions like a company, and this company is in need of a rebrand. So why do we need to start a new community? I'm on that side. I hope by now you either have chosen a side. Choose a side. What side you on? All right. Choose a side. Let us know. We can argue it either way. In fact, for those of you that are ready to talk to me and give me your thoughts on it, I'm about to drop the link in the chat. Make sure you're cammed up when you call in, or I'm not letting you up. The link is in the chat. Come on up and get in on this one. I know some of you got some thoughts. So, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, a community by definition is defined as a group of individuals. A community is defined as a group of individuals. But the community that we are looking to build is actually a group of families. I tell you guys that all the time. Right now, we're functioning as individuals and we're failing. So we are not going to use that definition of community at all. It does not apply. We are using different contexts here. A community is a group of families. We need a rebrand. Everybody's acting like an individual right now. We need to start acting like a family and a group of families, interdependent on one another for different things. I believe that wholeheartedly. So what needs to happen in order for this to be ready? And y'all better listen closely to this one, because some of y'all are going to tell on me, and you can tell that nigga I said it. I know who y'all going to go tell. I'm here for him, and I want the smoke, all the smoke. There needs the new community that we are building needs to be inclusive of all Black people, including Africans. Yes, I said that shit. And you can tell them I said it. The new community needs to be inclusive of all Black people, including Africans. There needs to be a version of Black people in America that believe Africans, first generation African Americans, and foundational Black Americans can coexist together. Remember, choose a side. You don't have to be a part of this new community. There is one that's established, or whatever's left of it. You can go be a part of that community. But this new thing, is not separate. We're not starting off with division and divisiveness. Like I said, tell him I said it. I don't give a fuck today. He got his own opinion. I got mine. Call me a tether all you want. Just don't call me broke. The community, my community ain't going to be broke either. The community of families is actually never broke. So I'm like, why'd I run out of space? Next page. Listen, if you're one of those people that want to be separate and create an exclusive group of FBAs, then by all means, please do so. By all means, please do so. This has been my philosophy from the jump. Most people, especially liberal people in America, keep trying to get racist people to keep quiet. I would like racist people to identify themselves. We are completely different. You could tell me you don't like me. You can tell me you're a racist. I will say stay on your side, and I will stay on my side. I want to know who the racists are. So by all means, I'm calling everybody out that's FBA that wants to stay FBA and only in your group, with only your group of people. By all means, please do so. Just pick a line, pick a side. The line is in the sand. The line has been drawn in the sand. And if there are African immigrants, I'm talking to y'all too. If there are African immigrants that only wish to associate with Africans, take your ass over there and stand on your side. This group of people is inclusive to all black people. But I'm not just talking nonsense. Let me tell you why this is important. We need to restore the culture of family over everything. Family over everything. If you are not inclusive of all black people, you are already divisive to the point of family over everything. Nobody shall stop you. Please do so. Go over there. Be with your people. By all means, be with your people. This group of black people that we're trying to build here can outpace every ethnic group on earth. Would you like me to explain? Would you like me to explain? Let me tell you a story about a white friend that I have. He's probably watching, so he's going to be laughing in his seat. Y'all think the weirdest thing to me is that most people think that, especially a large majority of white people, are racist. I don't know why. Maybe y'all just need to think that so y'all can continue running and trying to get gold in the Victim Olympics. But this is a Californian white guy, so he's a bit different, like some New York white guys and Philly white guys. Some of them are like actually black. It's weird. But this is a Californian white guy. And he basically said one day while we were out shooting, it was the weirdest thing ever. Me and another black guy. He just said, I don't know who provoked this conversation. He said, black should have taken over already. What? He said, yeah, man. Black should have taken over already. He said, you're usually the coolest, biggest, strongest, fastest person in any room. The white guys, Hispanic guys, Asian guys, etc., all want to be black guys secretly. He said this. This is a white man saying this out loud. He said, we want to dress like you. We want to talk like you. We want to look like you. We want our hair cut like you. He said, why haven't blacks taken over already? A white guy said this to me. We were like, is he trolling? But it made so much sense. It made so much sense. People don't hate black people. Are you crazy? They only hate a version of us. They do not hate black people. Let me tell you, excellence transcends everything. Excellence transcends racism. Excellence transcends sexism. Excellence transcends bias and prejudice. The most celebrated person in any music, in any entertainment sector is a black person. If you take a moment and take your blinders off, music, black person, sports, black person, people have no problem giving us $1 billion because of our greatness. This new group of people needs to believe that in order to make it happen. Stop trying to run in the fucking victim Olympics. The people in this group believe that and teach that to our children so they may do better for themselves. Do you need more proof? In this country, as you sit and as you breathe, a black college educated couple does better than their white counterparts. Why y'all still competing with white people? We've been surpassed them. If you have equal footing with them, we've been surpassed them. Get married and see what you could do. A black man and a black woman, the hell out of here. You can move mountains. Still out here trying to compete with the white guy. Africans left white people in the dust 30 years ago. We over here competing with Han, Lee Wen, and Muhammad. And y'all still talking about Tom. We left Tom in our dust 30 years ago. The hell y'all still talking about him for? Tom can't hold me. Unless legislatively, yeah. Some of his people still run some things. But down here, surface level, we left Tom in the dust 30 years ago. My opponents are Muhammad and Lee and Han. Y'all tripping. Family over everything. The reason why this is also important is that in this group, we need men and only men and exclusively men to lead their homes. We need no debate about this at all. Men lead these homes. There shouldn't be any debate about who is the head of household. Y'all can keep that in y'all group. Y'all can keep all that equality. Look at the air quotes. Keep that equality, which is actually a ideology of female sovereignty that they sold to you as equality. The hell out of here. Equality, my ass. They took white men and the government, they took their foot to put it on your neck to call it equality. I've never thought that shit was equality in my life. Y'all are tripping. This group of women want male leadership. This group of women promote male leadership. That's who we want in our ethnic group. There shouldn't be any debate about this. I might have to take a second. I got more blickies coming to the door. One of the perks of being a federal firearms licensee, all your guns come straight to your front door, just in case y'all were interested in that. All right. Teach our children. We need to teach our children that marriage is the glue that bonds the community together. Only under this model do we succeed. Think about it. In the old model, it's everybody for themselves. Marriage isn't for everyone. Like you can actually do a damn thing without it. You can't build nothing without those bonds. Also, this is a hard truth moment. I'm going to drop the link again. I see you back in the back, Mr. Rich. I'm going to just drop this last piece and then I'm going to bring you up because this is important. I only thought about one behavior because I didn't even want to go. I want the panel and everybody to talk about this as it's one of the questions that I'm going to have. But here's a hard truth moment about what needs to happen in this new group of black people that we're going to set out to build. This group of black people needs to learn how to leave the degeneracy behind. I'm sorry. There is no group of people on earth that are so focused on the degenerate class of their ethnic group more than black Americans are. You have to realize that you not only can you not save everybody, if you owe them anything, it's a good example and what to strive for. I didn't say stop them from getting to your level. I didn't say stop them from seeking help from you, but make sure they're actually willing to do the work to get to where you're at and not out here looking for more entitlements. Leave the degeneracy behind. That is why you can't build. That's why you can't make nothing of yourself. Leave the degeneracy behind. Do you know how important this is to the development of black people? It was said on CNN, and I'm sorry, I can't quote the exact study, that black people have the most first generation college students of any ethnic group. But yet, those college students, at a rate of over half, have to use money, significant amounts of money, especially the women, to help people, to help other people, to help pay their rent. How can you build when your salary is going to another house? How can you build within your own family? Because you got to help everybody in the rear. Learn to leave the degeneracy behind. No, every ethnic group on earth does that. I'm going to set a good example for you. When you come humbly and ask for help, I will help you, but I'm not going to enable you to be less than I am. I will enable you to be better. Don't come to me asking for no handout. Leave the degeneracy behind. Let me get a thumbs up from the people in the back so I know it's you. All right, bet. What's going on? Good morning. Or good afternoon, rather. Everybody, yeah, my bad. Everybody on Instagram, go over to the Lapeef Network on YouTube. We getting the show started. We got an all-star panel that's about to come up. All right, y'all. Go ahead, Mr. Rich. What you got on the topic?
Hey, man. Good topic, Trigger Mike. I mean, I hear you. Like I said, one of the things we need to do is kind of define what you think. I mean, I know you went through your soliloquy, but do we really have a good definition of what community really is in this day and age? Because I look at blacks across the country. We have enclaves of black people in almost every city, and then we have a class issue. So if we look into inner cities, there's all kinds of what we say common things going on in the inner cities, right? But is one city connected to another? Like the blacks in Flint have some unique issues because they don't have no water to drink, just like the folks in Jackson, Mississippi. That causes certain issues. And then if you look at Chicago, it's like almost a murder capital of the world for blacks, right? They had Gordon Lightfoot as the damn mayor. She didn't do shit. So we got all kinds of different things going on. And so what's the community? And how could we save it without saving pockets? You know what I'm saying? And like you said, I believe we need to build a new one. I don't think there's no saving it. But what are the factors that went into destroying the community in the first place? And how do we keep that out of whatever we want to build in the future? So I mean, it's a good discussion. There's all kinds of things you said. A lot of us like entertainment, right? Or black folks, no matter what your class is, we like entertainment. But what's our entertainment, right? We have the little hats. All they promote is the most ratchet music for rap, for both the male and the female. The males are talking about stealing and killing, and the women are talking about how many eggplants they could take in all kinds of ways. And then, then we talk about the movies and black men. If you're not a leading man like Denzel or Idris Elba, whatever his name is, regular black men who are getting roles, they're all gay. If you really look at it, a lot of them are gay. And then when they have black women in there, and she might have a leadership role, but she's a lesbian. And if there's a black man and a black woman in a relationship, the man is a deadbeat dad or some kind of loser. And then the shows that are popular for blacks is Snowfall, the shit on Stars, and all that kind of stuff. So when we had a black king in the Black Panther, Disney made sure they killed his ass off so we wouldn't see a black king who was heterosexual and led a whole nation, right? So my man died, but the character didn't die. The actor died, but they recast Superman. Hell, they had a movie with 3 Spider-Men in it.
Damn.
So the only one they killed off was the black dude. And I'll move forward. I'm just talking about imagery. And then the one woman who wasn't some kind of savage, I call them elegant savages, like the woman king and all of the Elijah Madonnas, whatever the hell they call them. They're women who are bred to kill men,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the one woman who was the queen, who was feminine, heterosexual, and loved her king, they killed her ass off in Black Panther 2.
Yep.
So I'm just saying all these images, they may seem simple, but they're not. So what do we really have to look forward to outwardly, in terms of the imagery we're looking at? Gay black men, lesbian black women, drug dealers, uh, all kind, and then all the singers. When's the last time you heard a crooner? The last crooner we had is in jail as a goddamn pedophile.
Dang.
Right? I'm serious, man. What's our crooners? Even the women who sing. When's the last time you heard a Aretha Franklin type voice on a woman or anything like that? I mean, it's just, so there's a lot to overcome. So the new community, marriage will help, but how do you keep them from being poisoned by what else is out there? All
Yep.
the bad stuff. I mean, that's enough. I mean, we could talk about it as we go.
No doubt. No doubt. For truth, if you want to come on cam so I can see you, and I'll let you up. Can I get a thumbs up? All right. Awesome. All right. Relentless. What's going on? What you got for me?
What's up, Mike? Salute to the panel. Salute to the Lapeef Network. Appreciate everything y'all do. Also, Mike, my Virginia brother. Gotta look out. Can y'all hear me good?
Yeah, we got you.
Yep.
Okay. Matt, may you repeat the question again?
No, this is just opening thoughts.
Oh, opening thoughts.
So
Okay.
yeah, the title is "Save the Black Community or Build a New One."
Oh, build a new one. It's, in my opinion, it's not a lot left to be saved. It's a lot of what's normalized now in the community is degeneracy. It is I personally think that it's a trauma response. Just we a lot of times now we want to be victims. We want to look at what happened, like color purple, slavery, like whatever the case, whatever happened, and it's like, oh, these are reasons we act like this now. So suck it the hell up. And I think that that's a dumb response. Just because, in my opinion, it's like two wrongs don't make a right. And I think that the community now is in a space where there are too many voices in the right, and the people who deserve to have their voices heard, respected, and elevated are always crucified. And not making this political, because this particularly isn't my party. I'm independent, but a lot of those times those people are people who have conservative views. Like, look at Candace Owens. Like, she gets crucified by the Black community for some of the things she says. Even not so like political, like Kevin Samuels. Like, Black women celebrated when he died, and all he did was try to hold the community accountable, because he was tough on men and women. So I know we're going to dive deeper into the conversation, but I do think that it's worth rebuilding. I know earlier, Mike, you were talking about like a business model, like a community can run like a business. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Oh, okay. And
yeah, like a company. I said like a company. Yep.
Yes, sir. And I think that sometimes you got to tear the old world down to build up a new one, and that's exactly what we need to do.
Nice. For truth. Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. I think this is your first time. What you got on the topic? Your opening thoughts.
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
I am doing well.
Well, I think from my observation, I think there's a couple of things that are a major issue within our community. And I would say one of the first things is a lot of times when I'm listening to these panels, especially on the Lapeef Network, anytime religion or any type of spirituality is brought up, immediately people want to shun that away. And what I've noticed with these other nations is, there's always going to be some outliers, and nothing's ever going to be 100% when we're looking at things from the world perspective. But for the most part, there's a reason when you think of Arabs, you immediately think of Islam. When you think of Indians, you immediately think of Hinduism. And so I think by having that one uh, moral or spiritual standard, they all have sort of the same understanding when it comes to right from wrong. And we don't see a lot of that in our community. Our community is so divided. You have one segment of our community that subscribes to Christianity. Then there's another segment that's, diverting to Islam. And then you have these people who are now just considering themselves spiritual. But we don't have the majority of our community anymore subscribing to one spiritual standard where we can hold ourselves to one moral code. And the last thing that I wanted to say is I believe as Black people, we have a problem with seeking too much validation from other communities. And when I look back on the civil rights movement, I think one of the things that destroyed us the quickest outside of our marriages falling apart is our need for integration. Like even where I I live partially in Arkansas and Texas. And no matter where I travel all over this world, it always amazes me that you can find a Chinatown, that you can find somewhere where the white people are congregating. They learned how to even come over to America and still establish their own sub community within the community as a whole. And Black people, we just refuse to do that, because even when Black businesses get started, like with me living in a smaller Black community, it's always like, hey bro, let me get that discount, you got me. And then as soon as we say no, then they'll go over to the white folk business and pay full price, because we won't give them a discount or something like that. So I think, like I said, integration and our need to integrate is really destroying us, because we want to be accepted by others so badly to validate our existence. And with that, I yield.
That is pretty deep. Relentless, you got some?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna ask Matt, add to that when you were done talking.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say to add to that too, on the part she mentioned of like needing validation from other communities. I think that's another big focal part of it too. Even like Malcolm X himself said, like, why are you relying on communities to help you when they never even cared about you? And a lot of people didn't listen to that part in one of his speeches. I forget what year it was. Was it 62 or 63? But he made that speech about how Black people, we need to basically look out for ourselves. And we've definitely diverted into being a community, into seeking that validation, that attention from other people. So I wanted to say just thank you for bringing that point up.
Yeah, very good point.
Very good point. All right. I am ill prepared for the next question, but I will read the super chats that came in. All right, my man Black Manta, $4. Before you even get started, build a new one. Ra, $2. Black God. Mr. Rich, $5. I don't internalize the ratchetness of the worst of the beat community. Real Pookie, $2. Second favorite troll. Africans go along to get along. They make no waves. You know that's a goddamn lie.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Dame Shift, $2. Trigger Mike for president. You know what? I've seen this a few times, and I'm flattered, but I realized a long time ago that I don't want to be a president type. There are people who have more power than the president. I want to be that person.
You want to be in Congress?
I want to be able to lobby a president and move him any which way, because my influence and power is so great. There are people like that are behind the scenes. You can't demean their character because you can't demean their dollar and their value. They can sway this political climate any way they choose. If I had to be somebody, I'd be that person. That person is invisible. You understand? So I'd rather be that person. Thank you for the super chats, and welcome to the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network. We appreciate all of your contributions thus far. Keep them coming. This is a really good topic we're talking about today, and everybody has some investment in it one way or the other. The topic for today is save the Black community or build a new one. Sophisticated Jerk, I see you in the back. Let me get a thumbs up, bro. Awesome. Opening thoughts. What you got on it, bro?
Yeah, no, I was listening to you guys, and you guys definitely have some great points. But one of the things I think the issue with the whole community debate that we tend to have is I don't think we ever look at the definition and we overcomplicate the whole community thing. Because if you look at the definition, it means local and shared characteristics. So I think for Tooth, I sorry if I butchered your name, but I think she was kind of mentioning it where, like, are you family oriented? Do you have the same like religious practices? Do you guys have the same like drive as far as like moving up in the society? And then also Trigger Mike, what you was kind of breaking down, sometimes when you're starting to, I'll say, outline what the community looks like, you have to have a set standard. And then you almost have to have like an enforcement mechanism, which you're not going to be able to tolerate because you have to remove certain elements. And I think that's the issue overall.
Nice. Yeah, that was nice, bro. That is very true as well. I defined it as a group of families. So you guys have a very detailed description and very of a community. I'm trying to take it step by step because I don't believe anything can start before a black man and a black woman can get along in the same household. I don't think anything can start. And that's where it starts. You got, once those families are formed, you got your definition definitely takes shape because it has to be, we live in the same community and go to the same church. I understand that if I died, that dude down the street, my wife can go to him for spiritual direction over my chair. Like, that is the type of community I'm a part of. And I understand what y'all saying in that respect. And I absolutely agree. All right, we're going to start with Mr. Rich on this next question. What rules would you establish to keep order in the new black community?
We got to be careful when we say rules, right? I mean, it's very difficult to talk to people about certain rules. I mean, I would look at what kind of culture do we want to build, and what kind of volunteers do we have that want to follow that culture. Like, for example, if I was to build, let's just have a fictitious place where we're going to build, we got 100 acres of land and we're going to build some houses and a community center and some, places to go shopping. What kind of people would I sell my houses to? Right? And what kind of rules would I put up with for you to be able to live there? I mean, that's the kind of thing we're talking about, because we're talking about an enclave, right, that can be expanded, right? So one, I would look at the people being married, right? If you're a certain, do you have an intact family, right? That's one thing. I mean, I think that would be critical, right? It's something that we can relate to. I don't think I would force a religion on people because matter of fact, I think the population is becoming more and more agnostic from any religion, right? So, and so when you describe these kind of things to people, you can't say you need to be Christian, can't say you need to be a Muslim. You can't say any of those things because, but the teachings in those religious books have a corollary in the non-secular world or in the secular world, right? So those are the kind of things you got to talk about. So, I mean, marriage is one thing. Are your kids under control, right? I mean, that's it. I can see you move some people in and they got a wayward son. And the first thing he wants to do is bring drugs into the community. So got to be some staunch rules where you kick his ass out. And maybe the family got to get kicked out, right? Yeah. So, what kind of entertainment goes into those areas? What kind of, do you have your own security force? These are the kind of things I'm thinking about. I don't know how you build a community because in our country, there's no way where you can say one person can't move to another person, but there are discriminatory enclaves around the country where you got to have a certain level or else you can't move in. And it's not just money. So do we build communities like that? I mean, that's something to think about, but there's a separation between blacks who make a certain amount of money and the blacks in the inner city. I've said this before. We already have a class issue that separates us. Every black couple who makes enough money, the first thing they want to do for their kids' sake and their own sake is move out of what we call the inner cities, right? And they do it. That's like the number one goal. And so the cultural environment for those people starts to be a lot different than the people in the inner city. Now, can any individuals in the inner city be saved? Yeah. But not by you moving back there and trying to be a beacon of hope for them, right? Because that's just not going to work, right? So they got to be able to look out and say, you know what? I'm tired of this kind of down low life. I want to be where those black people are. And then they have to have their own self-determination to move? How do we build the self-determination in the black people to actually achieve and move away from, oh, I was a slave. Oh, the Democrats are my best thing because, they tell me I'm a victim and holy shit, the man is keeping me down and all that horse shit that you keep hearing. And I don't, we have to overcome that. And so I don't know all the rules. I mean, I don't have all this shit in my head. All I know is that we just have to look forward as opposed to looking backward. That's the best thing we could do. We need forward thinkers. We need people who think like a little bit like Anton Daniels. I mean, we need more people like that. Anyway, that's it.
I agree. Absolutely. Relentless. What rules would you establish to keep order in the new black community?
Not gonna lie, I think I've been listening to Chaotic Truth a little too much. Because the first thing that hit my mind was when he talked about practicing eugenics in the black community. But I'm not gonna say that as one of my rules. I just want to make everybody laugh.
But we already have a eugenics program going on, though.
Really?
Yeah, abortion. It's a eugenics program.
I was gonna say that's
it is.
They're the number one participators per capita.
Black
so
women.
Yeah,
right.
It's already in motion. Yeah, so
you're right.
I'm glad I didn't mean it this really.
No, you're fine. Y'all got a point there. If I could establish rules in the black community, in the new black community, the first rule I will probably have to implement, it would be along the lines of, I want to say voting. And when I mean by voting is like you have to not just understand at least 5 policies someone you want to vote for. You have to understand what they are, like break down the definition, like go into the deep reasons of why they are, because a lot of the times, like when we vote off of emotion. Like black women, they voted against Trump when Biden was running because they just didn't like Donald Trump. Like, I'm not endorsing the man at all, but it's just like every black woman I talked to and seen on YouTube and had these conversations, just, oh, fuck him, the hell with him, forget him. That was it. Like, so what was the other person's policies that you support? Well, it ain't Trump. That's not a good enough reason for me, because I'm a person that likes context. So that would be the first thing. The second, I don't know how people are going to take this, but I'm going to say limitation on access. It's like the Pookies and the Ray Rays, like y'all can't go here. Like the Shaquitas, the Shaniquas, the Watermelon Andreas, like all of y'all, hell no, you don't have access to certain things in the community. You don't have a voice. You can't go into these areas. Like, and I don't mean to keep bringing it back to politics. It's just that's where my mind is going. It's like, Cardi B, even though I don't consider her Black American, but it's like people like that, you don't get to talk to the potential president. Stay your ass over there. But like people who are actually qualified, you can have those conversations. You can pick their brain apart. You can challenge them. We can have those dialogues to actually further us. So the Pookies and the Ray Rays, you do not have access in certain spaces to further the Black community because you're in those spaces and you're fucking it up. So that would be mine.
For Truth, you're up next. What rules would you establish in the new Black community to keep order?
Okay, so I thought this was very interesting because an associate of mine were just talking about this a couple of nights ago. And one of the first things that I would establish is a deadline for having access to certain aid, whether that's welfare, whether that's food stamps. Just using myself as an example, by the grace of God, I had to have food stamps at one point in time in my life. But I always had the mentality that eventually I wanted to get to a point in my life where I can proudly walk into the grocery store and swipe my own debit card or credit card. So if we're talking about a new Black community and still looking at it from an imperfect perspective, I would limit access and put a deadline on how long they can have help. because as I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize that sometimes helping a person can actually cripple them if you don't give them structure. Like if you took someone into your home just out of the kindness of your heart and you didn't give them a deadline, hey, I'm helping you out, but it's only going to be for 3 months or for 6 months. Unfortunately, if they're not going to have some type of fire lit under them, they might drag out their feet, spend their money any type of way, use up your resources, running up your light bill and your water bill and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's one of the first things that I would implement is like putting maybe a 2 to 3 year maximum on welfare, food stamps, healthcare, whatever it is. At some point, if you got to go get 2 jobs or if you have to go back to college, which that was a great show, by the way, to make yourself more competitive in your field. If you have to go learn a trade in order to better yourself financially, you're going to have to do something, because being on having all these type of benefits because you made bad decisions for surpassing 3 years is just crazy to me.
Yeah. So what the way I think about that, like that might be first or second on my list, to be honest, because you're absolutely right. Enabling, that is why I said some people won't want to come over to any new iteration of a black community because the entitlements won't be there. You're gonna have to work to establish yourself, and in this country, some people are just not willing to do that. They are used to entitlements. Work is a curse word. Their legs are broke, their arms are broke at all times. Section 8 is their best friend. Like, we have to stop acting like they're like, when people use that thing where they say, well, white people get it more. No, not per capita. By percentage of people, black people do use it more. And it is absolutely enabling people. They don't even have ways to check. Like, I hear people bragging on how they get over on Section 8, how they've had the same apartment for 20 years, but then want to complain that there's lead still in the apartment. Just weird stuff like that. So what I would say is, if you are going to ever help anyone, there needs to be a limit on the amount of help. One. And then you can still help someone without taking away their responsibility for their own well-being. That is the part that I think people don't understand. You can help your sister, just don't take responsibility away from her. The one thing I love about certain cultures is if somebody does fall on hard times, does lose their job, there is no way you move them in, you come back to a dirty house. In my culture, bullshit. All your dishes are clean. All your kids' beds are made. Like, we had a cousin come from Nigeria once, and he couldn't get a job for a while he was getting his papers and stuff. When I told you, I ain't never even seen a house that smelled or was clean that good. This dude wiped the computer keyboard off. Anyway, folded everybody clothes. What Americans, have that type of appreciation for people? I don't know many. I don't know many. But I don't know many Americans, not even black Americans, that do stuff like that for people to help them. Right? So we got to create a culture. Don't take anybody's responsibility away when you help them. It's crippling. It's crippling to them, as you said. All right, Sophisticated Jerk, what you got?
All right, man. In my community, you're going to have a job, or you're going to have to be in some trade program or in college. You got to show some growth potential. Also, man, you can't have the victim mindset, because I think the mindset is important. You got to have that mental toughness. And then I'll say the last thing, you just can't prey on each other in the community. Because a lot of times you start bringing people in, they start breaking in people's houses and stuff. So it's just like, nah, you can't, invite that criminal element.
Hey, that is very true. Mr. John the Baptist, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for letting me get up onto the platform today.
Yes, sir.
I can tell by the question you just asked that I missed the very most important question. But I'm going to answer both. I'm going to answer the broad program. I'm not saving the black community at all, but to participate in this question that you just put out, I'm gonna contradict myself, saying if just to participate in the show and stay in format to what you got going on. If I gave two, I would have two rules. One, it must be a guard-centered black community. Two, it must be a patriarchal system, government, courts, Anything that we develop in the black community, it must be patriarchal, it must be God led, and there's no equality between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my two.
All right, I hear you. I hear you on that, bro.
Can I ask John
Absolutely.
about this a question?
You sure can.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said you wouldn't change the black community?
I wouldn't save it. No, I would not save it.
You would not save it. Oh, okay. Okay.
No, I would not save it.
I thought you were speaking in terms like you were defending it, like there's nothing wrong with it. I had a question for that.
You know what? I want to
misheard you.
Go ahead. I want to answer. Mistaken. My homie Mistaken, come to the front of the congregation. She says, can we stop pushing this narrative that people on welfare don't work? The majority are actually employed. I believe this. Now, what I don't believe is that these people advance anymore from their current state. They don't. When on welfare, it seems to be a crippling agent more than a leg up or a holdover. People don't use it as something to get a leg up, because if you really want to be real about it, these entitlements are meant to give you to either be a holdover or give you a leg up. Do you know what I would be able to do in life if somebody was paying for my child care? It is a slap in the face to be a man in a house taking care of your children with no help, when somebody who didn't make the good decisions you made has NCI and all this other stuff available to them, and they can go to work and make money too. It is absolutely a slap in the face. So I know that these people work, but I believe welfare is a crippling agent when it was meant to be a holdover. I would
like to add something to that. I would like to add something to that too. It's like I don't believe in welfare system at all. When there are times where I lost a job, right? And that I was the breadwinner in the family, especially early in our marriage. And whenever I lost a job, I would get 3 or 4 part-time jobs to carry me until I got that full-time job. My wife could tell you, I would work 18, 19 hours a day, part-time job, just to equal what I made to keep the family going. So that welfare stuff, I mean, this is from like time I got married at 21. Time I was 24, 25, trying to raise a family, trying to figure stuff out. Never had a dad to really teach me anything. Never had a mom to really taught me anything, how to handle finances. So, never been in debt, never been kicked out of my home, never had a major issue with money. And then, but and when I fell on hard times, even when I did fall on hard times, I didn't look for someone to come save me. I just practiced the principles that God gave me, and I went forward with that. So I don't, this welfare stuff, I don't care how hard your time gets. Work 4 jobs. I've literally worked 4 jobs. So I got the job I needed.
I mean, man, that's what men do, bro. I commend you. Hell of a job.
And I'm not saying that's something I wanted to do.
Absolutely not.
I had a wife and kids.
But listen, bro, there's a reason why most of the homeless people are men. We're screwed if we don't do that type of work to sustain ourselves. Pretty much most men that I know have lost a job for almost no reason, with barely any savings, while still trying to establish themselves. I got a friend that moved here with Houston within a month of when I did. New job, they hired him, moved him out here, fired him in 6 months. He had to use all the money he had to, pay off his several situations. Could not find a job in time and had to move back home, right? And that's if somebody wants to take you. So everybody is one, most men especially. We don't get help. It's called women and children's shelters. Can somebody give me the address to a men's shelter so I could drop it in the chat?
There's only.
Can somebody give me address to a men's shelter that takes men? We will drop all of them. That isn't full 2 seconds after it opens. I don't even think there are many, especially in comparison to what is available for women. Free money in this society belongs to women. There's no such thing as free money that's in association with anything male. Nothing. Damn near. Unless you're willing to scam.
There's one in the Charlotte area, but I'm only saying that.
Yeah, I know there are a few. Like I said, they fill up.
There's not many. There's not many. Much.
There are not many.
Though.
No, it's over 300 women and children's shelters in the United States, and it's like under 10 from men.
Kind of rightfully so, man. Because if men had a place to retreat to like that, the country would stop.
And the worst part is that,
I mean, if we're not striving, everybody at different levels, then the country will stop. That hunger is what keeps us moving.
well, not even, yeah, absolutely. And not even to take it back to the topic on yesterday, but the reason I believe they're starting to push legislation that doesn't benefit women is because now men feel so down and out that they don't even have a reason to go to work for themselves. And when that happens, just like you said, the entire economy stops. If most women are trying to get entitlements from the government, but men aren't working. So the part that really got me, because we talk about women's equality and women working, but how do women work at this level that they work, but men still obliterate them in taxes paid? That is imbalance. That is, simple math will tell you that won't scale over time. So men pay the large majority of taxes, but women take the large majority of entitlements, and men are now retreating from work like, I can't do this shit no more. I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. That means a crippling economy. And I think they're starting to see the effects of that. What do y'all think?
Part of that is also the appreciation factor for what men do for women is pretty much gone in the West. Mm-hmm. Right? There's very, very little appreciation for what men do in the West. It's all over the place. That's just one factor. That's what it sounds like to me. When's the last time, like, you can count on one hand, male praise appreciation channels by women? It's usually just bashing all over the place. So,
gotcha. All right, we're gonna read this one super chat we got. Tia Marie, $10. Appreciate that. The Black community dissolved a while ago. We are so internally divided that there's no way we can collectively move forward. It's more so of a mentality change we need. Can't even agree on a panel.
Yeah, I agree with that.
She has a point. You got a point. All right, so let me see if I want to do.
I don't think we should try to. My bad. I don't think we should try to save the Black community, because I think it goes against everything Martin Luther King really actually preached in that one speech that he gave, when we talk about judging a man on the content of his character, not the color of his skin.
Explain that.
I think if we're truly going to get to where we're supposed to be, we have to stop looking at communities, whether it be Black, white, whatever, Hispanic, whatever. We have to drop the labels of communities and become a community of people, and not race or whatever this construct that we go by now. I'm not quite sure what we say now, but I think we truly want to achieve that part of life. What Martin King was talking about, we can't make the focus race anymore.
Yeah, first I wasn't with you, but now I'm with you, because one of the things that I push is that we do not need unity. I hate when people say unity. Unity is the reason people can't leave the degeneracy alone. We want unity. I don't want to unify with no goddamn degenerate, or I don't want to unify with Pookie. His behavior speaks volumes. That's like me calling up 7-on-7. Isn't that what we call them? And be like, what up, big dog? You want to go get lunch? Want to go get lunch? Want to go get a drink together? Me and that nigga got nothing in common. Not a damn thing in common. Okay? There's nothing about him that I want rubbing off on me. That's what people mean when they say unity. That nigga is not invited to my cookout. Okay? So
that's why I said content of characters. What Martin
exactly. So what we need, and I think what you're talking about, John the Baptist, is we don't need unity. We actually need more division, but division into tribes. Go to your tribe and where you align. Y'all kids go party together. Y'all ideology is about the same. You believe in the same things, even if it's inclusivity of other groups. But only the heads of those tribes come together as to talk about community and the perception. And then after that's done, you go back to your tribe and do whatever it is you do. Do it consistently. Do it. So that's the funny thing about tribes. No matter what you think about a certain group of people, whatever they eat, what they believe, you respect the way they move because it's unified. A tribe believes whatever it is that they believe unequivocally, without any hindrance or influence from other people. We believe this, even if other people think it's bullshit. That's why you respect it. That's why you come together with a head of another tribe and say, well, I don't really understand your beliefs, but what's good for our people is, then you go back to your tribe. So we absolutely need tribalism within the Black community, if that's kind of what you meant, John the Baptist.
No, I'm actually saying, get rid of race, color, this social.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying the same thing.
Okay, I just want to make sure I got you.
What do y'all think? Go ahead.
I didn't get that, but I didn't get that out of what you were saying, Mike. When you say tribes, it almost has a connotation of all those people being similar construct. But
No, he
if
meant
that's not what
tribes
you're
by
So
like-minded.
what I mean is,
like-minded.
just to
Okay.
put it simply, in Nigeria right now, there's
Right.
Yoruba, which I am and my family are, Igbo, and Hausa, but they're all Nigerians. They all do things differently, even the industries that they go to, right? All the, like right now, I'd say all that Afro beats music that you listen to, that's mostly Yoruba people. We do entertainment. We are the cool, the flair. The Igbo are more of the smart, the doctor. There are, of course, there are groups of people, and this is my next question. But the Igbo project themselves out as smart. They want to be known as more reserved. And the Hausa people, they so rich that they don't even leave Nigeria because they're like the oil and gas people. So, but eventually they have to congregate and say we're all Nigerians. But then they're gonna go back to their tribes. They got different food and all that. That's what I really mean. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let me get the next question started. This is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one. Let me see. Let me do this one. This is actually a super chat challenge. We're gonna pick on the panel. We're gonna pick the best one. Let me get a thumbs up, True Table. All right, bet. So this is a super chat challenge. Whoever has the best super chat, we're gonna read it aloud. Okay. What industry should Black people dominate as an ethnic group? Hear me out on this first. Because, like I said, when I said Asian community, everybody said smart. Everybody said intelligent. Everybody said, but if you notice, yes, kids and everybody can kind of do, they can't really do what they want. That's what I meant. Their parents push certain industries on them. Reason being is that there's a lot to be said for continuity of profession. You can not only just do the profession, you can teach the profession down the line and improve and make a name for yourself and build companies and have that stream of income flowing over and over. Let me ask you, when you think of Asians, give me 2 professions immediately that you think of.
Doctor.
You see what I'm saying? They dominate professions as an ethnic group. Yes, you have some Asian entertainers. Yes, you have blah, blah, blah. But as an ethnic group, what their parents are pushing primarily is a certain field or fields. So we're going to super chat challenge. We're going to see who has the best one. What industry should Black people dominate as an ethnic group? Mr. Rich, go ahead.
Hey, listen, I think we already know which ones that Black people dominate. It's sports and entertainment. The only problem is that they're not the people who own. If we own sports and entertainment, then we could determine the kind of programming it is. Because it's obviously, everybody can't be in sports, but in entertainment. But we have a lot of Blacks who are entertainers, whether they're singers, rappers, and athletes. The only problem is we don't control the narrative, right? So the Asians have, a certain control over, because of their cultural impact on what kind of engineers they're going to be, or what kind of managers they're going to be, however they live. Their cultural background helps them with that. Our culture is broken, it's ratchet, and we don't own the sports and entertainment network. I would just say that if we had the right mindset, that's not a bad block of stuff to own. Like if in the movies, for example, if you had like more than 3 Black people in a movie, you got to bring your Kleenex with you because you're going to cry sometime in the goddamn movie, right? So there's not, so it's the only reason why we look at that as negative is because we don't control the narrative, right? We don't control the ESPNs. We don't control the sports teams, right? We don't control the movies and how it's portrayed. That's why we have such a small, you got to be a killer or a drug dealer or, some gay man or some kind of crap on there. You can't be the leader, right? Or the sidekick. You're all that, because other people control the narrative, the music that we sell. The guys who are making money have to abide by the ratchetness of the people who own the record labels, right? And that kind of stuff. And we need to change that narrative. So that's a good space. Now, if you're going to say Blacks could be engineers and all this other kind of stuff, I have to think about it some more. But those 2 things, if we could change the narrative, I don't think it's a bad space to be in. And because we're recognized that way around the world. Our entertainment and our sports creates trends around the world. And the NBA would be nothing like it is now if it wasn't for the black players who made it spread across everybody trying to become an NBA. Now it's a worldwide sport. Even the brothers from Africa are starting to play, right? And coming into the league. And, so I give black Americans credit for that. And it made black Americans better because we had to start to learn about fundamentals like they do in Europe. So anyway, that's my two.
A normal name changer. Come to the principal's office, please. Come to the principal's office. Okay, so this guy says, or I don't know if this is a man or a woman, says Asians don't own shit. What I want you to do, I'm not sure if you're going to do it, but what I want you to do is maybe the Chinese restaurant. Yeah, they don't own that building. They own the business, but they don't own the building. But I want you to do is I want you to go to any land area in any major city and go to the immediate outskirts of that area. I want you to find the plot of land, whatever land that's going on a shopping center or whatever. And I want you to go to the wherever public records, what is it called? The housing place, not urban development. Yeah, just the records area, whatever it's called in that particular state, and look at the holdings. Look at the holdings company that owns that land. You will find a significant amount of those companies traced back to China. They buy up. Even in this state of Texas, they try to stop Asian people from buying land. They're buying up so much damn land. You don't know what you're talking about on this one.
Exactly.
You don't know what you talk. Asians don't own shit. Girl, whatever you are. Trust me.
So you mind if I jump in here real quick with the question?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say the two industries. I do like what Payne was saying about I'll say broadcasting type, like news, because that's going to definitely have a big influence, and we could kind of change the dynamic of what's pumped out. Because I think sometimes, we focus on I say small percentage of like bad news that comes out. So we could change that narrative and maybe focus more on the positive, because there are a lot of people in I'll say the community that's doing well, that start pumping out those good stories, and also education.
It's like Byron Allen should be doing a lot more with his power and his networks. And guys like Tyler Perry. I mean, they have big broadcast, big influences. So I didn't mean to cut you off, sophisticated jerk. But those, you're right on that.
Yeah, and then also I'll say just education, because then we could change the curriculum. Making sure that we're learning about finances. We're learning about, different trades and stuff like that within school. So I think if we could, start getting in those industries, that would help us like advance,
All right. Relentless, did we skip you on this? Yeah, we did. What you got? What industry should black people dominate as an ethnic group?
I'm gonna just go along with everybody too. And can y'all hear me? Oh, I thought my media cut out.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, I thought my audio cut out. My bad. My media. I'm going to say media as well. I have a background in marketing and media, and 5 companies own over 90% of the media that we have today. The biggest one is Disney. So think about how much power that is and how much influence that is, because influence is everything. And people like to say all the time, like, oh, we set the trends, we set the culture. Like, yeah, when it comes to music and shoes and, who's putting the ball in the hoop. But when it comes to the bigger things, that's when that's where we should go into those spaces and dominate just overall media, like, from your CNNs to MTV, whatever the case may be. So I'm going to stick with media.
Mm-hmm.
All right. John the Baptist, what you got?
He might took a break.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Payne. Here for a second.
All right.
Because I like what Payne said. Talk about the narrative. We need to control the narrative more. And I'm gonna take that what he said and kind of build off in another direction with it, though. Because I think what he said is actually true. We do need to build it. We do need to change the narrative of what we do as Black Americans. Black Americans get robbed of the history of things that we've done. We have a lot of great Black engineers, scientists, doctors, not just sports and entertainment, but most of America was built off of Black innovativeness. And we don't talk about that. And what Pandy brought out is what was so accurate is that because we don't control the narrative. So if we look at it holistically, we dominate a whole lot of fields. But what we don't do as black people, we don't control the narrative of what the things that we created. George Washington Carver, one of the greatest scientists of all times, does not get credit for all the things that he invented or the money that goes with it. I just went back. I tried to do research. I'll try to remember the guy that the railroad guy that they created the I just went blank. But I'm sorry, but that's my old age getting to me. But yeah, we get scientists, engineers, doctors, lawyers. We are great. What Payne brought out, and I'll land the plane right here. Repeat it again for the last time. We need to control the narrative more.
Okay.
All right. True Table, my man. Welcome. What you got on it?
Shout out to the panel. Thank you. If I could touch on two things, I'll answer the question, but I heard the gentleman say something and it ties into the topic. And that's what motivated me to jump up. I think that our community needs a major requalifier. And what I mean by that is that we have qualified Black people through struggle. And I heard it on this panel, which is what motivated me to come up. I heard a man say that if you lose your job, you need to get 3 to 4 jobs. I don't knock the work ethic. I don't knock the fact that we should grind, but I think that there's a disparity on what Black people, because of, slavery and things of that nature, no one ever taught you how to scale jobs or how to scale skill set. So working is not going to get the job done. And I hate hearing it because that's what I think holds a lot of us back when you talk to the older generation. They have a mindset, college, work 30 years, retire. Those times have changed. And you still hear young people say the same thing. I'm gonna give me a house, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And I think that's dangerous. So I think if we're gonna change our community, we need to really do an overhaul of our perspective on how we're gonna do it and do it strategically and mainly tackle that, because that is still a struggle mindset to go give your time for money excessively. And I'm not knocking it for something temporary, but I think we just need to be more intentional. The industry the industry that I believe Black people should dominate, I would say would be manufacturing and politics. I think entertainment, we don't dominate entertainment. We dominate entertainment from an influential perspective, but we don't drive it in the sense of, controlling it. And why I believe manufacturing is important is because it's twofold. It gives you the opportunity to control what is produced. Products scale faster than a lot of things on earth. That's been proven. So I think if we can control that, then I think we have great engineer minds, honestly. Look at the pyramids and things of that nature. So I would say politics and manufacturing, and I'll digress.
Can I address something that was said about the 3 to 4 job reference?
Go ahead.
So, True Table, I wasn't promoting a way of lifestyle. I was promoting a way of accountability in the sense of don't look for handout, don't look for help from the government aid for a lifelong assistance. That's what that reference was made for. It wasn't like that. Because I believe in owning businesses too, and not just working 9 to 5, 40, 50 years to live off what the government or what other people create. So I agree with you. And when I made that statement, it was reference to welfare, becoming a welfare recipient and looking for handouts.
All right. Cooking with Sir. What's going on? For True, can you come back up and give me a thumbs up so I know it's you?
Yeah, salute to the panel. I would say real quick, definitely we need to control our image and intellect, because if we control our image and our intellect, then we'll have the driving force and the power to step into or even control multiple arenas. They use our image and our intellect consistently against us and to make themselves rich. So if we can control that ourselves, if we can control ourselves, our own image and our own intellect, then we'll have the buying power, the intellectual power and fortitude to actually change something, instead of constantly allowing others to come into our spaces, to come into our homes, to come into our places, and then run the show. It's hard for, even up here on YouTube, for Black YouTubers to get a significant amount of subscribers, but we have people who infiltrate our communities with our own talking points, with our own image, with our own likeness, and sell it back to us the same way they sell our struggle back to us. And then they're able to capitalize on it when they don't even like us. They actually hate and despise us. And I ain't gonna drop no names because it's somebody else's panel, but it's out there. It's out there.
Can you give me an example of that?
Yeah, I was about to say, whose fault is that? It sounds like it should be our fault to a certain degree.
Yeah, it is. It is our fault. It's our fault for, like, for example, if you're pulled over by the cops and you're beaten up for speeding, it's your fault for speeding. But how much do we have to say it's our fault for speeding and not the cops' fault for beating us up just because they can? Yes, we allow the people to come in and infiltrate because we're trying to work and not seem evil or mean. We're trying to network and not seem like we're separatists. We don't want to be like the people who are quote unquote oppressing us. But then how evil is it for them to manipulate that and use it against you? If I come and befriend you just to rob you, you say, okay, well, that was your fault. You should have seen my behavior. But also, it's my fault for actually robbing you.
And like to go along with that, you know, this isn't necessarily pushback, but this is just adding to the conversation. So when that talking point happens and we talk about them versus us, we also got to talk about the black people who harm us too, just cause. And I think about oftentimes that we commit the most violent crimes against each other in this country. So I want to take me personally, I'm taking the system, the white man, the white supremacy out of like that context, because I don't think white supremacy told Pookie to shoot Ray Ray just because they live 7 blocks in the wrong direction. Or just because
actually it did. Actually it did.
That okay,
so,
okay, show
that's a bad analogy.
No, it's not, because please show
me. Yeah, it is, because it was a false narrative. I understand it's a good talking point, but Pookie and Ray Ray learned that from the Ku Klux Klan. If you do your research,
no, they don't.
Do your research. No, they have separatist things that they promote to us. And
please show me the white.
I can show you
to the black
if you really want to listen.
I said, kill that nigga because he got a red band on, or kill that nigga because he has a blue bandana on. Show me the white man with the gun. If put it in the chat, whatever. Show it to me, and I will concede to that fact.
All right, y'all know this ain't that panel. We're gonna move on to Poor Truth, so she can answer the question. What industry should black people dominate as an ethnic group?
I think everyone made a lot of good points. I definitely agree with us being able to control our image, because it's such a shame that when we think of ourselves, the only 2 things that we readily think about is either we a rapper or we doing something with a basketball or football, and we don't see all the other success that we have in other industries because, again, we don't control our image. And the second thing I would say is, if we look at our history, we have always been innovative builders. So I think if we get back to building infrastructure, that will encourage more of our people to go into math and science and engineering, and then we'll be able to see a lot more of those faces at the forefront of our community, opposed to, like y'all were saying, a rapper or entertainer, and that seems like the only thing that we're good at or known for.
All right, so y'all, I don't think I've ever disagreed with the whole panel. Maybe it wasn't everybody that said it. I don't think I've ever disagreed with the whole panel. I think y'all are way off on controlling our image, because you don't actually control your image. Like, what y'all are trying to do is control the people that control, or to have the ability to put out whatever you want to, just like they do. That's not how you control your image, because the way I see it is almost as if you just want to control what's put out there. That's not the type of control we need. Because when you think about it, remember I made the comparison to Asians and what we think about them immediately. That's what they're doing at the grassroots level. That's how you control your image. You can't control your image by controlling the media. right? So let me tell y'all what my industries are, because I think y'all are like shooting for the moon, which is actually another terrible habit of black people. Y'all have lofty expectations right out the gate. All right. The industry I
Listen,
think we should dominate.
listen.
Hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. Military and police. If you really want to control an image, I'd start there. Here's why. I got reasons for this. Benefits. Look at the average reading level of the average black man today. The average black boy, rather. It's fourth grade. It's fourth grade. But stick with me on this. If he graduates high school, what is he immediately eligible to do? Because we can't talk about engineering with a fourth grade reading level. We can't talk about any type of mathematician or medicine because you need science and math for that. It's an uphill battle. But what can he do immediately upon graduation? He can go to the military or he can become a policeman. Those jobs are heavily benefited positions. I want that because let me just show y'all how real this is. This morning in my email, I get something that says new VA life insurance available now. Guess who I'm calling after I'm done with this show? That is going to be dramatically reduced off of what I'm probably paying from life insurance. And I'm a disabled vet, service connected disabled vet. That money isn't even coming out of my check. It's coming from my benefits, coming out of my benefits, right? So that is what we need. The reason why I say you need those jobs, and before y'all get on me for saying, oh, that's blue collar, every group of people that came blue collar into this country, they came in blue collar. Asians came in blue collar. They didn't come in engineers and doctors. Africans came in blue collar. My father was a cab driver when he got out here. When you go to New York City, who are the cab drivers? Immigrants. Everybody came in here blue collar. You don't come in here. The black community is that if we're going to start something, we got to start blue collar. Stable job, stable household, stable family equals advancement for the future. Those are the three things you need to rebuild. All right. That's also military and police, how you remove the negative stigma from the black community. People that serve don't have a negative stigma attached to them. The funny thing about it, and I have proof for this, as much as someone can hate a black person, are y'all listening? I find it extremely hard that a white person hates a black veteran. I've almost never seen it in my life.
Stop.
They almost want to be racist to you till they be like, you served? Thank you. Well, thank you for your service. Like they were about to be mean to you before they found out you were a veteran. Some of the people, like as much as we talk about black cops, some of the most beloved cops on earth are black. They're the coolest cops. They're the cops with the swag. Everybody likes them. And so we can go to the other side and say some of the most hated cops are black, but some of the most beloved cops is that black cop in a police department. I think if black people take those industries over, those benefited industries where now you have home ownership reduced, interest rate reduced because you're in the military. Home ownership is increased with people in those jobs. All of these things so you can build wealth so your children can kick it up a notch. And now you have an advanced culture of people. What do y'all think?
You still have to go through a transition to get to what your euphoria about blacks in the military and the police. I mean, we just saw 5 black policemen beat the shit out of a black man to death. So I'm just saying that if we're not running the narrative in the police force, it's just going to be more of the same. I mean, just because they put on a uniform doesn't mean they're thinking right. And then in the military, I mean, if you're talking about being generals and if you had listen, the commander in chief is the president, right? So if you still have a white president and he's beholden to a political party, he's still going to have to want to put black men in charge of the force, right? And so we're talking about an evolutionary thing because I don't really disagree with you fundamentally. It would be nice because those are good things to have not only status but some power with it. But that's like that's the same thing as pie in the sky. You're talking about shooting for you're not only shooting for the stars, you're shooting for like the Milky Way galaxy for that shit to happen, man. Are you kidding me? So I'm not saying it's better. I think what you said is better than sports and entertainment. However, how do you get there from here? Because the Vietnam vets used to get the uniform spit on when they came back home. It didn't
Yeah,
matter when you were black.
we're in a completely different
So
time.
I'm just saying, now we're in this time where people do respect vets. My sister's a police sergeant. She just retired from the New York City Police Department, and she could pretty much write her own ticket anywhere she wants to go. So I agree with you on that. But I'm just saying, you know, you think it's kind of pie in the sky, just like the rest of ours. That's all I'm just trying to say.
I'm also saying for these times today. So first off, this is why I believe my opinion stands, because what are the jobs? A lot of the jobs that everybody's talking about, these are things that white people control. When we talk about, you know, the president not letting, the president does, this is surface level, state run, local run agencies. You can move around until you find a police department that's going to take you. It's extremely actually easy to do with a clean record. All right, we got to stop capping. We do not have black people complaining that they can't get into these industries. They complain they just don't want to do it. So this is easy access, right? And we can start to say, hey, they won't move me up within departments, but you can move around departments. There are multiple police departments, especially ones that'll give you what? The affirmative action to be chief. We have more black police chiefs. Look at every single shooting thing that comes on, and the police chief got to come on. The police chief is black half the time. Police chief is black, right? So I'm talking about black people being in a position, not the stigmas around what people are doing. Get the job, get the stable income, get the benefits. Are they denying black service members benefits these days? No. It's not about the overarching what the government is doing. Am I getting paid? Do I get the benefits? I'm going to use that for my family.
I'm just saying the mindset of these people have to change along with what you're saying, okay? Because we got a whole bunch of black police chiefs, and they think just like the white boys. So, you know, I don't disagree with the euphoria of it. I mean, if we start promoting to our kids that, hey, listen, you're too dog shit stupid to go to college, so why don't you become a cop? And why don't you go, you know, go into the military? Because we used to put kids in the military. So, I mean, from that standpoint, if we have a whole bunch of influx of black men and some women going into that direction, yeah, maybe the outcomes will start to change just because there's more blacks involved. So I can take that. But
I don't think that what Mike said is completely incorrect. I personally don't disagree with it. It's just I personally pick media not from the influence of just entertainment or sports, but just in general control of what's put out, period. Like it's certain, like we all are knowledgeable enough up here to know that certain news stations only show one side of the story. They only show one side of the story.
Of course.
So what the reason the reason I disagree with that relentless is because what you just described is something that happens in a communist country. Right? Control gets put out. We're not Russia. We are not Russia.
No,
that's what I said. That's why I say y'all are tripping. Y'all are trying to turn this into a communist nation.
No, they actually control the narrative.
That's kind of disingenuous because you know we get it.
Hold on. There was actually another part of my point, because here's the weird thing about racism and the way prejudice and the way that we describe it. I don't know why black people think that prejudice or bias or equality or anything is safe in their hands. Well, the reason I made that comparison to Asians is because once you control what happens at your grassroots level, you then control what's being said about you, because you can call slander, and that's enforceable in court, right? So y'all are saying don't talk so much about my bad behavior, right? They get to talk about it because it's news. But when you control what happens in your grassroots, when so many people aren't getting divorced, when black men don't have the highest rate of murdering other people, then you control the media, because everything said about you could be a lie, right? That's what I'm saying. Control it at the grassroots, because if you try to control the media, my ultimate point was what's actually happening to black people is natural. This happens in places where everybody's black. This happens in Africa. One tribe trying to demonize another tribe. It's natural. So if you get the chance, who the hell do you think you're going to put negative news out about? White people. You're just trying to change. That's why they don't want to give you access to anything, because you're just going to do the same shit to them. I've understood that my entire life. And if you don't think so, go ahead, give a black person this whitey. Here he is putting our foot on our necks again. It's going to be Fox News all over again.
No, but that's why I don't see that. I don't see the distinction you're making with the military, man, or the police. People wherever you go. You know,
I hear what Mike is saying, because there are some black people who would get in these positions and just slander white people.
And
I
just
personally don't
slander-
think.
they just gonna slander
I
white
personally, I'm speaking for me. I don't think that way. I'm cool with us talking about black men killing black people
Me
at the
too.
highest, like, and I'm fine with that because I'm on the side of the truth. Like that. That's just me. I don't care if it makes us look great. Looks like that. I just care about what is the story, the truth of the story being put out. But I also was thinking more small scale. Like, for example, the show A Different World. That show actually did influence black people to go to colleges. And we can see at that time between 1988 to 1994, there was an increase in black students going to colleges, particularly HBCUs. But still, that did have an influence. Like, even the creator of the show, I don't know if I can say his name on YouTube or not. He even said that he would rather, like, because sorry, I went backtrack. He was trying to buy NBC to control the narrative of not just the bad things, but the good things, and to promote us and put us in better lighting in
I think
situations.
you still mentioned Bill's name. I don't think
let
it's
me
Oh,
ask,
I can't. I just didn't know.
let me qualify. In fact, let me qualify my previous statement. So, Relentless, do you believe there's somewhat of a gender war between black men and black women?
Hell yeah, no question.
Do you believe that black women have greater representation in American media than black men do?
Absolutely, it's incentivation.
And on these networks such as BET, OWN, and VH1, what do black women? Who do they demonize most in media?
Oh, black men.
Exactly. Like that. That's what's gonna happen. No matter who you put there, whoever they believe their opponent is gonna get the smoke. So that's why I'm saying black people in media ain't gonna change nothing. In fact, it's gonna make shit worse because those people gonna take up arms. Stop fucking talking about us. They're gonna blow this shit up. Y'all tripping. We don't need control over the media. We just need control over our people and our narrative at the grassroots level. This has been an awesome conversation. Anybody else got anything on it before we switch topics?
Yeah, I don't personally have a complete pushback on what you're saying. I think what you stated was a subset of what I picked, because I said that we need to control manufacturing and politics, which kind of are connected to police, military, but manufacturing from a standpoint of control of product. And that can go into multiple sectors, construction, and so on. So that was me personally. But I agree with you, what you're saying, in that sense, that the media is just one dimension, that doesn't, if you're doing the work, it's reflective of the actual existence of the people, which will in turn turn the image of the people.
Now, before we switch, I like what you were saying, Trigger, because, I'm military too. And like you were saying about the VA, my son just went in there. He's got free school and stuff. So from a benefit standpoint, yeah, it'll be a great start, because you got to start somewhere with it.
Just imagine the leg up, because remember, the one thing that I said is that we think lofty as hell. I don't know how we are supposed to go from where we're at to trying to take over Fox News and Disney and like combat them in any way. They will. In fact, you already know, those of you that work in the corporate world, get yourself put on those people's radar. What the hell do you think gonna happen to you? You're gonna get stomped out. They can't see you coming. Like, here's the funny thing about it. If racism actually exists to the degree that people say it exists, how the hell did Muhammad and Lee Wen end up overtaking the average white man in salary earned? They wouldn't have been able to. They'd have put their foot on their neck. What they did was establish their own grassroots system that could not be denied because it serves the purposes of too many white businesses, right? So they made themselves indispensable to the American economy. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying when I say black people need to choose an industry and dominate there. Hold the family, remember, hold the line. Stable job, stable household, stable family, then advancement into the next thing. One generation, that's what every single ethnic group that has come here has done. One generation turns it all around. Then your kids can be doctors and media executives and all of this at greater levels. And we definitely got to get that reading level up. That boys' reading level. In fact, the focus needs to be on boys. It seems like girls, society will just take care of girls. You need to primarily focus on your boys if you were to have a striving ethnic group, even in the least.
Mike, you 100%? Are you 100%er?
Of what? Man, hell yeah. I'm pure nigga. I absolutely am. What is 100%?
About the disability
service. You said you were service.
Man, I'm working on, bruh. These people they got me. I was a 10%er, and then they just got me to 30. And they were looking at my case, and I was like, well, I was a reservist. They were like, so, we're gonna get you to 100% before maybe about a year and a half. Like now they're moving the claims out to where they don't respond to me for like 3 months. So the last time they responded was like September. I got my increase in December. So now they're about to submit the new one. I haven't got a response yet. But I'm gonna look. That's why I'm not paying any student loans right now, because I heard them things go away. I just found out them joints gonna get erased when I hit 100%.
Yeah,
True,
that's
true.
what's
Sound like you
happening.
got
I
100.
got a guy for you if you're interested. So just let me know.
Man, put that in the back chat. Hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's happening to a
Hell
boy of
yeah.
mine right now. He about to get his 100% from serving.
You see what I'm saying? This is what I don't understand when the people act like black men don't have no money. They don't put this compensation in that valuation. It's sophisticated. I didn't even know some of the people I know. But what was his name? Breezy. One dude I met through Breezy. This dude got a plate in his head. Something happened to him. He was doing some weird work. Got a plate in his head from some shrapnel or whatever. This dude just stocked day trades all day with his benefits. And look, he was losing money. The day I saw him, he was losing money. The next time I saw him, the dude was up like 100,000. I was like, what? Talk about black men ain't got no money. Y'all tripping. These dudes are in the crib, and he's just in the crib. It's all he do all day. Is he lives like really close to Virginia Beach. He just goes to the beach and talks to honeys, brings them back to the crib. Like he has a party in his crib going on 24 hours, and then he day trades when he not sleep. This shit is lit. That's why I'm like, I don't even understand the life some dudes are living behind this military stuff. But I digress. Let's get to these super chats real quick. The real get is $2. I think logistics and transportation would be good. I would actually say, well, not logistics like we own the companies, but transportation in certain areas. A lot of black people do that. Like in New York, you remember the dollar van? That was still around when I used to frequent it. The dollar van company, the Jamaicans. In fact, it was a lot of Caribbean people in charge of that. That was a good one. Sir Sampson says we need more blacks in the crafts like electricians, plumbers, HVAC, concrete, carpentry. I'm a general contractor and I always hire black professionals. That is correct. We do, but at this point, we got to let that go. The Mexicans got it. They got it. They're gonna win that contract. Their people come in droves. They'll take less money, and they will build that shit faster. Let me tell you something. There's a company out here in Texas called Perry Homes. They guarantee your home in 120 days. Guess who works for them? The Mexicans. There is nobody else that can get that done. If you can get it done in 120, from foundation to to close, 120 days. I haven't seen an ethnic group that can beat that yet. My man Moses, $20. Appreciate that. My dad was a cab driver in Staten Island from Liberia, where he met my mother from Ghana. Blue collar is where my pop started. You got to have a good, healthy sense of humility before you move up, college degree or not. 100% agree. Damn, a lot of us Africans, our dads were cab drivers in New York City. A lot of similarities there. We appreciate you. Thank you if you're just tuning in to the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network, the best network on YouTube. I'm going to drop that link again. Stay tuned for that. Let me get this next question queued up. We'll start with For Truth. We're going to start with you on this one. If you could remove the negative stigma, what is the first positive stigma you want associated with a black person? All right. Same way I said Asians, you think smart, intelligent. What is the first stigma you want associated with a black person? You got the floor.
Now I got to be a little shady, Trigger Mike. It goes back to the media. I represent us in the media as educated and how we love to be educated. And it's kind of funny because I remember going to a predominantly white school and in Texas, in Dallas, matter of fact. And I will never forget being approached by a white girl because I was in predominantly pre-AP classes, and she pulled me to the side and asked if she could ask me a question. I said, sure. She said, why are you so interested in learning? Because when I look at most black people, it seems like y'all don't care about your grades and actually getting the education. And I just politely told her, I said, what you see on BET isn't a representation of all of us, just like all of y'all aren't racist. And with that, I'm done.
Nice. Anybody who wants to go next?
Cooking.
Jump in. I would say the negative stigma that I'd like to remove is how emotional we are.
That's a big one.
If we can remove that one, I think we'll be good.
You got any positive ones you want to ask? Like, if I said black person, like, what would you want people to think? The first thing.
I'll say reliable. I think that's important.
I know a few old faithfuls, but not in the positive connotation. But I like that one. I like that one. Yup. Kind of like loyal to a fault. Like, hey, man, they'll get it done for you, bro. They won't leave. They won't trade up on you. I like that. I actually like that. I'm trying to think of who I associate that with. Who do I? And look, not even to mention, there are positive stigmas involved with black people because I've seen this, especially when people like from the north move to the south. You kind of notice a difference because some of the black people will be amazed, like, damn, black people really like this? That's crazy. And it usually has to do, I would say, more southern black men and black women, and some of the people in the west. They'll be like, y'all really laid back. Damn, you get that kind of thing. But I would say southern, like southern black women, some southern black women get a good rep. I've seen that here in Texas. Some of them are like Texas. They got to say it like that. So they really Texas. They get a good rep. So I would say, though, who do I like? Who's really reliable? I think a southern black man that works in like with his hands. Those are reliable dudes. Like, what is it? Blue collar southern black men. I think a lot of them are reliable dudes. I don't think I've met an unreliable one. But anyway, Mr. Rich, you go next.
Oh boy, I'm trying to think. Are we talking about what would we like to see in, with all else being equal right now, with the way the state of the so-called community is?
No, I'm saying if you could remove the negative stigmas, lazy, aggressive, all of that, and then in the new community that you're building, let's say you're 10 years in.
I'm with you. I'm with you now. I would say marriage-minded, family-oriented. I think that's. Just to say, I think there's been a lot of social engineering specifically to break up the black family. And so it's important to somebody, right? There's been a lot of social engineering making this gender war come true, right? And there's a purpose behind it. I believe in puppet masters, and there's a lot of and black people aren't the only victims of it, but I think it's been particularly heinous in our community, and it's different for the women as it is for the men. But it's social engineering just the same. I believe in that. So if we become marriage minded again, we'd fix a lot of stuff. That's it. Are you on mute, Mike?
Relentless. Go ahead.
The negative thing that I would get rid of is that black men don't like black women. When that's not true. Black men marry black women actually the highest. So I would get rid of that. We just want Becky and Ashley, but it's like we marry black women the highest, and we hold you all in high regard, and we hold you all accountable because we love you so much. So that's what I would change.
The link is dropped, by the way. My bad for y'all that were trying to come up. I see the Last African. Make sure that Wi-Fi works, Mr. Last African. Make sure you took your meds today. Goodness gracious. Yesterday he was going. Cooking with Sir. What you got on the topic?
Yeah, I would say that the stigma I would want to get rid of is that we're worthless and violent. I would want to add, that for people to look at us as loving and respectable.
Okay. Mr. Ikene, let me get a thumbs up. All right. What do you got on the topic, sir?
Me?
Yeah. Oh, you weren't ready? You weren't ready?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. What you got on it? Did he freeze? He froze.
Yeah.
True Table, you up.
You guys all made good points, but I would say the one I would take away is violence. That we're violent, and that we're trustworthy. To add a positive one. That's
Nice. Okay, Mr. Ikene, your thoughts. I think you keep freezing.
Me?
Yeah, you're freezing. What are your thoughts on the topic?
Are you asking Ekene?
Yes.
Oh, my thought on the current topic, my thought is that if you could remove the, okay, I posted it. This is, I think, strong. The word strong is negative connotation to black people, but
to black
for
women,
the for the black for we blacks, but positive, because I'm quoting from West. Somebody West in the comment says strong. I agree with him, but for positive, right? I think community and marriage minded. We have to be marriage minded. That's number one thing. Then number two, we have to think community, because with these two things, we can then build a future. Without it, we can never build a future.
All right, Mr. Last African. Let me see if we can hear you. Go ahead, say something.
You're mute.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
You must be in Africa with all these technical issues.
Hey, come on, man.
Goodness gracious.
Am I on?
You on now? Yes, sir. What you got on it?
Okay. What was the question again, Mike? You trying to throw me off with all that, man.
The question is, if you could remove the negative stigmas, what is the first positive stigma you want associated with black people?
I'm gonna say for black men, the whole thinking every black man is a crackhead, right? A lot of black men who do have skills that can fix and repair almost anything, right? They get mistreated in the economic world, but like every black man get treated or paid like he's a crackhead, even if he is or not, or is or ain't on crack or something like that. So that's the one thing I would take away.
I ain't never heard that one. That's new.
And I just realized I've been saying stigmas positive.
I've never heard that before. I think I disagree with that.
He said, "Okay, you can."
Okay,
but,
what about for the ladies? What about?
I gotta,
okay, well,
I gotta tell you,
if a black
this
man
is why. This is why this is why I disagree. Let me tell you why. As a mechanical and aerospace engineer, right? I was discussing with a lady that was that works for Raytheon. So we were having conversation about 3 months ago, and she was telling me that Raytheon, because she's a minority, she's one of the top hiring managers, right? So she was actually telling me that Raytheon is giving her the green lights to hire a lot of black people, but she just could not find black people to hire. Just could not find black people to hire.
Look, black people going there right now. Like, what was that company called?
Raytheon.
Like, what company was this?
Raytheon.
Yeah.
The missile company that build missiles.
Which one?
Raytheon.
This one's in Phoenix?
I want to blow shit up.
No,
where's that?
Nationwide.
aviation. They're aviation.
Okay, now once again, we're not talking about. You see how you try to. I don't know if you're trying to prop yourself up by saying that. I'm talking about the brother who come down here and you putting ceiling fans in somebody's house, or a AC unit going out, or some people used to come. I'm talking about used to couldn't afford cable, so they would have. It was a brother in the neighborhood. Hey, he know how to hook up the cable box where you could get cable, right? I ain't talking about I'm talking about everyday black people. I'm talking about ground zero, the last being first and all that.
And guess what? This conversation that I had with this lady also went into something different. She lives in a southern state. I'm not going to call the name of the state. in order not to pinpoint our location. She lives in the southern state. So she and her husband has about, they both have about 7 acres of land. So she hired a black-owned business to come and do some gardening, which has in that yard. So they gave her a quote. She then agreed to the quote and decided not to take the white company that brought a bid. She ended up going with a black-owned business bid. Guess what happened? The black-owned business showed up and found out how big the yard is, right? And they're like, oh, these are wealthy black people. They almost doubled the price of the quote. She fired them and hired a white company.
Yeah, that's anecdotal stuff, though.
Okay, well, no, wait a minute. Were they Nigerian? You see what I mean? You see the stigma? You see the stigma there?
Let me tell you something. This is not a matter of stigma.
I'm joking.
No, when I say black people, I'm not saying African. You got to understand, when we Nigerians say black people, when we want to say African Americans, we say African American. We differentiate it. But when we say black people, we say the whole black race. It doesn't matter where you're from.
Okay, well, we do. That's what. That's part of the problem. We doing it wrong, right? We should be we African, not black, right? You show me where black is on the map. I'll wait.
Okay, let me help. Let me help.
Tell me where black is.
Let me help. Let me say this to you real quick.
No, let me say this to you. Because you want to differentiate. I'm going to differentiate for you. I'm going to help you differentiate. Okay? Now, black, right, exists in America. Nowhere else in the world. Black is the condition of African people in this country. I'm African. I'm by way of North Carolina. We all came in through Charleston.
That's true. That's true.
You dig it? We all came from Charleston.
Get off the rails real fast on
Let me
this
get a
one,
thumbs
man.
up, Danielle.
No,
because
look,
I don't like being called an African American. I don't like being called an African American.
Right, because I'm African. Ain't nothing American.
No,
America
I'm
is my
American.
condition.
You know,
America is a condition that we in.
Yeah, my parents, my ancestors haven't been in Africa for 700 years.
I don't differentiate it.
I'm just trying to say, we got to move past that shit, man. Whether we call ourselves black, African American, blah blah blah, we can't try to define how other people want to define themselves.
You know what? Last African, I think you're making a case to be a part of the whole community, bro. I think you're making a case to be a part of the. We building a new one where we're not worried about this shit, man.
We might have to get dropped.
We're not worried about it. We gonna give you up in the draft. We're gonna trade you if you don't.
I don't follow. I'm not following.
Now go back to the monologue. Let's get
what's trying to say is let's start arguing whether we're African Americans, African or black.
Where she go?
We got melanin in our skin, and we got to move forward.
That's right. That's 100% correct. 100% correct.
No, that melanin turned into a geography lesson. Everybody got melanin, right?
You know what I mean, man.
When you speak in terms, Malcolm X said, I'm African and I got sense enough to know it. When you say melanin, Indian people got melanin, Pakistanis got melanin.
We know what we're talking about.
And see, everything that these people have in common is a land. Black people, there is no land for you.
That's bullshit. America's our land.
Show me. You're not American. You're not American.
Bullshit. I'm American, man. Every one of my ancestors.
America is the condition.
One mic.
No, I disagree with that. Let me say this to you guys both, please. You have, except if you start ripping into this, you have 2 chances now of where to live. You can live in America and you can live in Africa. I'm telling you, go read about the diaspora visa. You have that choice now.
Right now. Today,
you have that choice today. So yes, you have America as a choice. you also have Africa as a choice. Nobody can stop you on both continents.
I'm economically,
So
I'm economically,
anyhow, you can do both of them now. Today, according to the
Did
visa
you say
policy,
you have an economic
visa,
paradox?
No, I said I'm crippled economically from going to Africa. If I could, I would be there.
You can
if I
no,
had
you can go,
resources of any way,
you can go to
What is
Africa.
triple
You can
economic
establish in
code word
Africa, and
for?
you can get economic advantage in Africa. I'm telling all of us today.
I'm about
Nobody
to
stops you
donate to
from
you.
to go
I'm
to
gonna help you out.
Africa to invest. Nobody stops you. You have the visa policy today, the diaspora visa policy. Go and study it online. It gives you the power to go to any African continent, any African country in African continent, any of the African countries in African continent. You can actually buy a land on your own. You can build your own house. You can invest in Africa today, according to diaspora visa policy, and nobody will turn you down. And I think it's within a year or a year and a half, you can actually get citizenship. In some cases, you get automatic citizenship on your arrival. You start the process of it.
The last African. When I just got a question when you were talking about how saying like, oh, we're not American when marriage, politics, and sports was talking about how like, no, that's bullshit. We are American. Then couldn't we just say the same for everybody? Then we can say the same for white people. We can say the same for Hispanic people. We can say the same for Asian people who are born in America as well.
No. Okay, you make that distinction, right?
Like just break down
White
the difference
people,
to me why you say no is all. That's all I want to know.
Okay, white people don't have to say that. When you say American, you're gonna ultimately think a white person, right? Most people, black people, right, don't have a different condition. Like let's take the drugs. Let's take drugs for instance, right? Like when you had the epidemic of pain pills and stuff, right? Oxycodone and all of that stuff, right? The children, all these white kids was getting hooked on dope. So what happened? The pharmaceutical companies, with no argument, no riot, no marching, none of that, right? The pharmaceutical companies paid billions of dollars, settled with for these people to get treatment, right, at no cost, all throughout America. So now you have places where they can go and shoot up. They can go and shoot illegal drugs up, right? That's because they're American. Whatever you do, they're gonna, you know what I'm saying, accommodate an American. Now, for black people, you're lucky if you go to prison, right? If you don't get murdered in the street, that's the worst case scenario, right? For jaywalking. You understand? You see the experience? That's a different. That's every day. You can look here. You can turn. Wait, you can look on the internet. Wait, you can turn on YouTube. I'll tell you what. One good thing I noticed. You can turn on YouTube, and an Amazon truck. They won't show an Amazon truck running over a dog, but you see Ahmaud Arbery being murdered. You see George Floyd being murdered. You see Tyree Nichols getting beat to death on TV repeatedly, right? So that's what and all these attacks had in common were surprise, right? See, they thought they were American too until surprise, right? Eric Gardner, he's selling cigarettes. He the loosest in CD DVD man. My homeboy.
I understand.
Everywhere, but yo, he bam surprise, terrorize you by showing it over and over again, right? But won't show a dog getting ran over by an Amazon truck, and the man was backing up. It ain't like he pulled straight up and over. It was an accident, but won't show you that, right?
No, I hear what you're saying.
That's un-American, right? The dog more American than you are. You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. But it's
so
like,
you take the word white and you take and like how Malcolm, remember in the movie where he took the word white and they defined it. Well, and then they took the word black and defined it. If you look at those two definitions, white is the white American experience. Black is our experience. Do you understand? It's a dark, desperate position, right? And if you don't see the compassion, if you don't have compassion for when you see things like Tyree Nichols, if you don't have the compassion for that, right? And if you don't
everybody
have the
on this
same,
panel has compassion for those guys. That's beside the point you're trying to make.
say again,
Everybody on this panel probably has compassion for everything you just said, man. But that's not the only experience we have. And going forward, we can't be dividing ourselves by being demagogues over one thing or the other. Some of us are Christian.
Well,
Some of
who
us
said
are
being a
Muslim.
demagogue? Right,
Because
because
you're
what
telling
I
me,
see,
well,
hey, what I
you're
see
telling me,
is
well,
more.
first of all, wait a minute,
I
man.
have more
You
allegiances
can't
with
tell
white
somebody
people
they're not
than we do
American
with
if
more
they want
black
to be
people.
American. You can't say that. If you're going to tell a
Yeah.
black person you're not American,
You really look at the laws that tell you that you're not American.
Well, no, who's that saying that?
Listen, somebody just said something. Listen to
man,
him.
I don't. There's much
If
goddamn
you
taxes I pay. I'm a goddamn American.
that has nothing to do with it. Most taxes are
Yes,
illegal.
Your
That's why they
taxes,
give it
you
back
got
to
to get
you.
money for your money.
So, white
if
people,
you actually
get money for your money, brother.
still on that kind of narrative, that victimization bullshit,
it's not
man.
victimization,
Move
it's simple
forward.
facts.
Hold on,
I mean,
but
come on, man. We can't move forward thinking we're victims of every goddamn. You know how many black people kill other black people?
I gotta say
Primo
this to
me,
you
Abu
guys, please.
Jamal.
You see,
Primo me.
you see, when people have an ideology, right? This is why I don't argue with ideologists. When somebody has an ideology, you can't change their mind.
I'm not trying to change nobody's mind.
Hey, look here. The reason you over here is because of people who have paid those type of these political prisoners, these freedom fighters.
100%
You over here
correct.
next to the white to America. You cuddled up right next to them.
Guess what? Guess what? 100. I agree with you 100% on that. If people like what's his name, Martin Luther King, didn't pay that price, I wouldn't have been here in the first place. I wouldn't have been able to sit in my car, buy the car of choice, live in the place of my choice, walk freely without being shot at. I got to tell you, as an African man, I acknowledge, even the very first day I stepped my foot into this country, I acknowledge every single black person, every single African American that sacrificed for me. I don't dispute that. I'm never going to dispute that. And I'm always going to acknowledge that, because I got to tell you.
Wait, can you acknowledge me as African, not black? Can you acknowledge me as African?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
all
yeah.
right.
I have okay. I always said this from the beginning of time. As long as I'm concerned, an African American man is an African. An African in America is an African American. The reason why Trigger Mike does this show, from my opinion, is because of the unity of the race. And I gotta tell you, we have to stop seeing each other as African and African American, because I don't know the difference. Black, African American, I don't know the difference. In fact, I get confused all the time. But all I know is that when I'm filling out census or anything form, if it says Black, African American, I'm picking it. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't see the difference. And I got to tell you, my woman, she's African American, right? And when I choose her, I didn't choose her because I saw African American. No, all I saw was Black woman of the same race. And that's what I like it to be like. And that's how I want it to be. As long as I'm concerned, when I deal with an African American, when they make certain statements, it makes me clinch. When I deal with Africans and they make certain statements, it makes me clinch, because I don't like.
He thinks that black, being called black, is some kind of stigma, right?
I gotta tell. Yeah,
I
I
don't think
gotta put
so.
it.
You know what? In order for us all to be together, we got to consider ourselves black, and it's not a bad word. Because if we start going through all of these little ideations, I'm Black Caribbean, I'm Black American, I'm Black Haitian, and I mean, I'm an African Haitian, it's just some bullshit to me. It's all a construct.
Put it this way: it's a construct, but it comes down to how you like to perceive that construct based on what Mr. Penn is saying. Mr. Penn is right. White people are not.
I love all black people. I don't give a shit whether they call themselves African or not.
White people are not white in color. They are pale, right? But they accept that word white. We are not black, like the back of the pot. We are of different shades of brown, and some of us appear black.
You don't
But
think
we
white
are
people know
called,
they're
but
not? You
we are,
don't think white people don't know they're not white? They're
Okay.
pale. They come.
yes,
Okay. So let me ask you. Let me ask you
but
something,
guess
man.
no.
It's all the cluster.
I'm heading somewhere for 10 seconds. But guess what? We are called black. We should not stigmatize black when people tell us, "Oh, black is no. We are black. Our hairs are black. Let's just accept it and move on. We are black is
That's where I'm
beautiful.
at.
No,
That's
no,
where I'm
no.
at.
Wait a
Black
minute.
is
Wait a minute.
beautiful.
Okay, okay, you can say black is beautiful, okay, and all that. But you say you are African, right?
Yes, African. I'm black. I'm
Okay,
African
so
and I'm black.
wait. So to another person that's from the continent of Africa, you would say what?
Black. That's what we call
No.
ourselves back there. We call ourselves black.
No. If another continental African asked you what you were, you would say what?
Nigerian.
Okay, bingo. Okay, now
But
what
we
I'm
do
trying to
call, we
get
do
you.
recognize.
He's giving you his place of origin. We
Time
all
out.
have
Let me
a place
land.
of origin.
Let me land. I'll let you finish. Now, understand. You will say Nigerian. Now, what I'm trying to get the whole world, our people, to understand is we are all African. There is no Nigeria. There is no Congo.
Oh
There is
God,
no.
I can't.
Hey,
Do
look,
that.
there is no Libya.
Last
There
African.
is no
What state?
Morocco,
Hold on.
Egypt,
Last
none of
African.
that. We are
Last
all
African. What state were you born in? What state were you born in?
Pardon me?
Me?
What state were you born in? Last African.
I was born in a state of despair, of
Oh my
desperation.
God. All right, we're moving on. We're moving on.
We were born in North Carolina, in the South. Wherever you were born in America, you were born in Texas. Texas
I was
Texas
born in New
has
York
the
and raised
greatest.
in Virginia. When you ask me where I'm from, I'm gonna say Virginia. Like it's not that big of a deal. I swear it's not that big of a deal.
Okay. Now look here. I'm just saying. But you, from Virginia, you accept being from Virginia, right? But and look here. Virginia is the welcome
where I
mat to
went
the
to
South.
most of my schooling and my development came from. Where you from, bro? I'm from Virginia because I know what people mean when they say it. It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. But last African, hold on, real quick. Last African,
they're basically saying where your accent from, where your style come from, where your people lay their head at, like where they house, where their locality at, what school district did you go? Like you are taking this like global view. I don't think the world looks at it that way, but I mean,
and it's like last.
Yes, they are.
It's an ideology. It's an ideology. It's an ideology.
I'm still like stuck because you didn't initially answer my question. As you said, and pardon me if I'm wrong, well, I heard you say America is an ideation, correct? Yes or no? It's an idea, yes or no? Okay, that's what you said. Yes,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
You said that. So now I asked you, I said, so does the same apply for white people, Asian people, and Hispanic people? Because you have white people who claim they're Scottish, Irish, Italian, Hispanic people, Honduras, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Dominican, and Asian people, Korean, Japanese, Vietnamese, Filipino. Does that apply to them the exact same way?
No. Okay, if you listen to what you just said. Listen to what you just said. Every race of people, and I'm gonna start with the Asians because it gets more relevant with the Hispanics. But with the Asians, right? The Asians came over here freely. We all know that. Well, they came over here to work, but they have an economic stronghold in the country today, right? They were meant to be a buffer between our people, right? Just like we talking about right here now today, right? What up, EBD? What we talking about today is when you name those groups of people, right? And I'm real quick. Let me zip this in there. When the last time that Black Lives Matter thing took place, can you say that anyway? When that took place, the Asian people got the Asian hate crime bill. Quick, everybody know that. Just like that, bam. They got it quick. They're more American than us. Okay, now. To the Hispanics, you see them flooding over. It's open and shut. Come on over here. And if you notice all those little countries that you name, right? If you look on the map, when you're talking about these countries, South, Central, Mexico. Okay, what do South and Central have behind them? America. If you remember the speech from back in 2000, whenever your boy took place, right? He said he was pegged for saying they're more American than you, right? They are more American than you. They're American, more American than most black people. If you look at redlining, and if we talk about all these different barriers that American culture done put on our people specifically, when I go to the store and buy a blunt, it's the Pakistani dude, or I go to the white man.
All right,
but no,
we've
monopolized
the topic. We've monopolized the topic. We had a nice lady on camera cooking, and we just speeded past it. We had all this femininity on the panel. Danielle, you there? Can you break the monotony up? Can you break the Negrotian monotony up, please? Martin, can I get a thumbs up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What you got on the topic?
The question was, what would, I don't remember. What was it again?
Damn, what was the last question? Oh, I'm sorry. We had a question before.
Yeah.
We had a question before LA blew it up. If you could remove the negative stigmas, what are the first positive characteristics you'd want associated with Black people?
For the ladies, for Black women, I would say that we don't want to be moms, that we don't want to be good mothers, because we obviously want to be moms, but that we don't want to be good mothers, and we don't want to serve our men. I think they want to, they just don't know how to, because they've allowed themselves to be stripped of their femininity. And as women, we can be quite stubborn. And instead of just admitting, yeah, I just don't know what to do. And I know if I don't know what to do, if I say I don't know what to do, you might judge me. But what they don't realize is you're already being judged. You literally can't even travel without people looking at you crazy because you're a Black woman. You can't even be in your own city without people judging you because you're a Black woman, because of the stereotype that you allowed yourself to play, you placed on yourself. So I would want that to change. And for the men, that they don't want to be good fathers, because I think, I'm sure you know this stat already, but a single father is the equivalent to two parents, and Black men are the best fathers. And I believe it's because they've grown up with emotional mothers, so they've learned patience, kind of like of Job. They've learned extreme patience, so they are able to deal with their children better than, say, the white man or the Hispanic man or any other man, because we know, and I don't have anything against white people, but we know that the white man is, at least the liberal white man, for the most part, is like a simp. Like, I mean, the white woman runs this entire planet. It's insane. Those are the two things that I think that would be beneficial for the Black man.
I would push back on Black men are good fathers because of their emotional mothers. I'd push back on that one, but I hear where you're coming from.
I agree with that too.
I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know about the emotional thing. I know that we're more structured and we don't tolerate any nonsense from anybody. I know that, but as far as just because we're raised by a single mother, it makes us a better father. I don't see that at all.
No, statistically, Black men do worse with just a Black mom.
You mean
no, I know as a person, that's all of us. That's the majority of black people. But I was just saying that they have a lot of patience, because I watch people that I know in the community, because I don't have any.
Chris, let me get a thumbs up.
I don't have any friends who are single moms, but like people in the community, like the young boys, like when the mom is yelling, get your Black, blah blah. Shut the F up and all that. I mean, like they're able to just take it. And then when you speak to them, they do simp, obviously I think that's a big issue as well. But just they tend to, when they have their own children, that are ones that I've seen, when they have their own children, they're so good with their children. They just want to get away, as far away from that stigma as possible. But that's just what I see. You know, I mean, obviously I don't.
Can I point this out? Wait. Can I point this out? I don't know if I'm the only. Just for a quick second. Maybe I'm seeing it, but I see that Black single mothers are abusive to their boys more than to their
Absolutely.
girls. And what I see from the white parents is the white boys are abusive to their mothers. Have you ever heard a white boy talk to his mother when she asks him or tells him to do his homework or do something?
The first time I've ever seen a boy call his mom the B word, it was
the F word. I have the shock, the pure horrified shock of incredible. I thought that I was witnessing the rebirth of Jesus.
Wait. I think we all had the same reaction, EBD, because what I did was look at her like,
"You're live?
Did she hear this?
Here?"
I did like a double take, like.
But you see, but that's what I'm saying. Can everyone kind of relate?
Oh, yeah.
Has everyone seen that?
I've seen it.
So do you kind of notice the dichotomy of how we're growing up and how we're raised? Single Black mother is abusive to the son. On the white part, it's the son that's abusive to the mother.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with that.
I would have actually disagreed, except for the fact that I thought, see, when you talk about corporal punishment and parents, we got to realize that moms actually shouldn't be beating teenage boys. You're emasculating the boy. Because the funny thing about it, I've never hit I would never, first off, hit my mom. But there was one time she tried to discipline me. My father took over discipline well into my teens, right? There was one time like she raised her and I kind of like stood up and she did this thing, like, back like, oh, and, got upset. Then I was like, whoa, that was my natural spirit coming out. Was like, you're not bigger than me. Don't put your hand, like, kind of like, and I'm like, oh, snap. You're emasculating boys by whooping. My spirit knows you're not supposed to be hitting me. My dad could whip my, like, yeah, he could come home and stomp on my face. But it's like, yo, don't hit a grown boy. Don't.
Well,
hit
that's
him,
the same
man.
token that a man shouldn't be hitting
set
his
him up to
daughter.
think he's supposed to accept that from a woman the rest of his life.
Yeah, but that's the same reason why a man shouldn't hit his daughters, because you don't want your daughters growing up and accepting, being hit by someone they love.
False correlation.
Money Muse, come to the principal's office.
By their husbands and stuff.
Money Muse, come to the front of the principal's office. She says Black moms don't hit the boys unless they were raised back in the day. Do y'all agree?
That's a pure lie. I don't know about back in the day. I still see it.
I'm not dignified.
That is a whole bold-faced lie.
I'm not dignified. I'm not.
No, I grew up with it in this. I remember I stole my first. I didn't really steal. I didn't know what the point of commerce was when I was like 4. But I took a Butterfinger and I started unwrapping it and I started eating it. And while we were at the register, and my mom just popped me and stuff like that, and I didn't understand why, because I'm like, hey, there's this food here, and but I didn't understand money and all that. But I understood punishment for doing something you weren't supposed to do before I understood what the value of a dollar is and commerce and all that. I understood that my ass whooping is your first language, depending on who you're raised by, and that's a problem.
But that's the problem sometimes, not to go off topic, but that's one of the problems with Black parenting, is that some Black parents want to raise their child with fear and call it discipline.
Right.
Those are two completely different things.
Right.
That's deep.
But then you can't offset it by not giving them discipline at all and letting them run them up. Oh, well, my parents put me. I'll never put my kid.
You're right.
So I'm just going to let them just do whatever they want.
Well, discipline comes in so many different forms.
Corporal punishment. I'll tell you this, let you go and run in the street, Black, white, Puerto Rican, or Haitian, and that cop tell you to stop. They're going to give you more than some corporal punishment. They're going to put something hot in you. Pause.
Callie Bev, come to the principal's office, Callie.
You know what?
They do.
You know what? I got to be honest with you guys. I think that most of us on this panel, the reason why we turned out right is because of the discipline from house by the generations that raised us. Look at the discipliners that we experienced by that generation that raised us, and look at the kids that we're raising, or the kids that are raised in between us and the kids that we're raising. it's a mess. The reason why it's a mess is because this generation believes that, oh, I have to put a time out. I have to take away things that they appreciate. When they get money, they're going to buy that thing and they're going to hide it from you. But I got to tell you, the reason why somebody like me didn't get a girl pregnant before marriage, didn't go stealing, didn't do certain things that my friends that weren't disciplined did is because of the ass whooping and the talking. My mom did the whipping, my dad did the talking. And I got to tell you, both experiences were very, very vital for who I turned out to be.
All right. What? Oh, Christopher, what's going on, my man? Chris, you ain't been on the show in a while. What's going on with you, bro? In fact, when you pop up, you probably got smoke for somebody.
It was earlier, I guess, when they was talking about black, African, like it's okay to be called black. What you're saying is okay to be called a social construct that was created in this country. You allow them to strip you of your original identity and become of a new identity, which caused a lot of confusion. The 808s, the FBAs, whatever the case may be. Now, somebody asked, I believe a person on the panel said, in Africa, he would call himself black or whatever the case may be. Last time I checked, if you was to ask my father, who are you? He would say, I'm Nigerian. If you ask me, I'm African American. Yes, it's easier to say the word black because it's just one syllable compared to like 7 or 8, or to be African American or to be Caribbean American. But at the end of the day, do you know your identity? And that's the problem. A lot of people, whether it be on the panels or in this chat or whatever rooms you're in, they don't know their identity and they long to belong to somebody. I know who I am and who I belong to. I wish a lot of other people would have the same thing.
That was dope. All right, let's get the next question going in. In fact, I'm waiting on Cali Bev. I dropped the link for you. Talk about you ain't scared of me. You about to be scared of all this terrorism you put in the chat. Where is that? Let me find that. Let me respond to that, what she said. Because when we say coddle the boys, that is not what we. So the weird part about coddling boys, you got to understand how much stuff, especially for those of you that are parents, that go on between a child's birth and the time that they're 18 years old. There is a time where women can be over beating boys, I guess, up to a certain extent, and then they start to transition the abuse to psychological, to emotional. You just like your daddy. We've heard all that type of stuff. You MFer, you this, that type of stuff. So we've heard all different types of abuse. Coddling can actually come in this form. Let me tell y'all what I mean by coddling. Has anybody ever thought about how in a single mother household, there is a daughter and a son, and the girl can go on and go to college, but the boy got a 4th grade reading level? Has anybody thought how that could happen in the same damn home? Let me be very clear. That could never happen in my house. Ever. So that's what we mean by coddling. Leaving, he's just the boy. Life is hard on him. But when I have a problem with him, I'm going to let him know. All of these things can be true at the same damn time. You can absolutely be abusive to a boy and coddle him at the same time. 70% of black males alive were raised by a black mother. If you want an explanation, let them tell you. All right, so the link is dropped. Either way, Last African, give me a thumbs up. Sorry about dropping. You have a stale link. I couldn't even let you up. No, it's like frozen. Like it's still here. I can't even kick it from the studio. It's still here. So I don't know what's going on.
Don't be told,
you know what? I think your connection is economically crippled. So you know that was going on you in the chat for that one. I just had to bring it back up. All right. So we got final thoughts on the topic. I gotta go meet an African. That's funny. My dad still uses me as his personal courier. This is hilarious. He's like, I need you to take these phone to my friend. I was like, okay, where is he coming? But all right, let me let Cali Bev up to defend herself real quick. Let me take Cali Bev. You got smoke. What is it? You on mute.
Damn it. I don't have no smoke. Y'all just be changing y'all stuff up whenever it's convenient. That's all.
No, you don't understand what we're saying. Did you hear my explanation?
Yeah, that's why I waited to hit the link
All
so I
right.
could hear everything.
I know you can't argue with that. I don't be switching. There are many ways to
Y'all
be
gonna switch
abusive.
it up. Now coddling means that I coddle him educationally, but I still beat his ass. That's what coddling means today. Okay.
Do you disagree?
Yes, I disagree. You can't beat
Okay.
somebody's ass and then coddle them at the same time. It doesn't work like
Sure you
that.
can.
You absolutely can. You absolutely
Sure
can.
you can.
You absolutely
Nah,
can.
I disagree. But continue. Carry on,
But
niggas.
why do you
You know what?
disagree?
Wait, hold on, y'all. If what you're saying is true, it would mean that even a dude that beats his wife's ass don't love her either. It's
I
like
don't think he
a dude
does.
who has alcoholic rage, but then pats her up and says, "I'm sorry." Like those two things can't happen at the same time.
He's not sorry.
You can absolutely love your wife and still abuse her. You're just abusive when you get alcoholic. So you're saying that's not true either?
No, no,
That's
that's not true.
That's not
If he's beating
necessarily the
your
best
ass,
analogy
if
either.
he's
It probably
beating your
wasn't.
ass, he don't love
I
you.
yield my time. It
That is
probably
not
wasn't the best one.
that is good. That is not good.
No, that wasn't a good one. What do you
Hello,
call it?
Trigger Mike.
Who was that?
Yeah, Martin.
That's me. Mark. I want to say so. I want to make a statement on this question you just asked now.
Yep.
If a boy or a girl steal or go out there and disgrace their family, I don't believe you need to sit down and talk to that child or maybe a boy or a girl. I believe there's a demon inside that child, and that child need a beating. That child need a whooping. Because if you keep doing a lot of talking, you're gonna start taking Tylenol and Aleve and all this crap medicine and for headache and all this stuff. That child need a beating. When you beat that child is gonna think about the beating and not do that same thing again. Because if you keep pampering the child, everything is gonna go south. That's my own thinking. That's the way I see it. Because when you give that child a beating one time, they're not gonna do the same thing. They're not gonna do it again.
Well, you hope not.
Okay. All right. Let's get final thoughts on the topic. Save the black community or build a new one. Real quick, Mr. Ikene.
I won't say. Okay, you know what? I agree with that. Yes, save the black community, but build a new one. But I got to tell you something. I got to say this real quick. There is no way we can build a black community without first getting the women under control. You can't build any community if you can't get your women under control. Black women are so loosed. They have so much freedom. And they always believe that their freedom, when tried to be restrained, they can get a white man to come and save them, which means get a police officer, get a court system, get law enforcement to come and save her. She is not interested in the community anymore. Not all black women, but a lot of, that's huge percentage of them, due to individualism. Individualism is the greatest threat to the black community. Individualism.
Scary.
Yeah, I mean,
Scary.
it was fact. And the way I like to say it is not all but too many. Right? If it was just a small, we wouldn't feel the resounding effects to this effect if it was just a small minority, like people like to say. No, it's way too many. And the worst part about it is that a woman can even be married and still adopt the ideology of like an independent woman. It's like the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life. But relentless. I see that in black and white. Let me say that. It's double the effect in the black community, but white women do it too. So I wanted to make that clear. Relentless, save the black community or build a new one. Final thoughts. Real quick.
Build a new one. Build a new one. Build a new one. It's things that need to be changed. It's things that need to die. And we just need to rebuild a new community. Back to something the last African said, it's like we need to know who we are. Also, I think it was somebody else who said that. But yes, we need to know who we are, and we need to rebuild what we have and actually do it properly.
All right, bet, Mr. Rich.
Yeah, listen, we got to get rid of the old community, build a new one. I don't believe that. I believe women are at the center of that, but it's not us or men controlling them. They have to learn how to control themselves and get back to their natural order of things. And one of the things we have to both realize, both men and women, we live in a new age, but our nature really hasn't changed. Only the tools have. So it has to be a community of willing participants, not somebody telling you you should do this or I should do that. You're going to either be down or you're not. So the women who want to be stuck, with the modern feminism, they can't join. And then the guys who want to be simps and want women to lead them, they can't join either. So I'm just saying there's a natural order of things, and it has to be a volunteer army moving forward. And because all the rest of it, if we're trying to mandate shit that people don't want to agree to that, then we're back to the same old thing. We're going to be fighting. So it has to be a volunteer army that want to build a new community. And then we got to get away from stupid shit like, all of these little subdivisions that we have ourselves in. If I don't identify as an ADOS, I don't identify as an FBA, I'm not fucking black. It's just bullshit. We'll get wrapped around all of that shit and we can't move forward. So we either going to be moving forward in terms of what really matters with our nature to build new communities, or we're not. It's as simple as that. As far as I'm concerned.
Christopher, save the black community or build a new one real quick.
As far as the current community, I said they have until 2030 to get it together, because the foundation of a black community is family. That's the problem. You growing up in a single mother household is not a family. Although the results are better, you growing up in a single father household is not a family. A house is a mother and a father and the children. So that way you know what to do when it's time to leave the house. The reason why I say I give it to 2030, if the old regime don't start showing progress or getting it together, then yes, I think it's time to burn down the black community and build a new one.
All right. Martin, you there? Let's go to Last African real quick. We know how you feel today about this topic. Save the black community or build a new one. You're on mute.
First, let me say, let's stop being naive. There is no black community. When you leave out your house, there is no black community. You shop, every dollar you spend go to somebody else, right? Unless you're buying a bag of herbs or whatever something else that pleases you. That's the only place we spend our money. Now, I will say about the black community, right? There is, when we begin to identify, right, with a land as Africans, the people who we are, right, and stop being lost in the darkness and this black America, this darkness that is America, right? And then we can build a community that is truly our own. And as when we talk about where it starts, I will say a repeat from one of our great Negro poets who was mentioned earlier about being a pedophile or something, being something in the negative. I will say in his words, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. I'm out.
So, man.
I think you redeemed yourself from your earlier statements. I like that. All right, Callie Bev.
All right, I don't have my terrorist mask with me right now, so I'm just giving y'all a trigger warning. I'm giving his trigger warning. All right, so the idea of tearing down the black community and building a whole nother one, I think is ridiculous. Now that depends on what I hear when I watch the playback of the discussion that y'all had, because I just came in the last like 25 minutes or so. But my initial thoughts are that all that's gonna happen is that you guys are just gonna end up separating yourselves again based on the behaviors of what y'all think are the lower tiers of said community that y'all had rebuilt. And it's gonna be a cycle over and over again. And since and here's my terrorism. Since men are supposed to be the leaders, I think it's funny how men went on ahead and sat back and watched and and participated in messing up the room, and now they look at it and it's all jacked up. Now they want to move into a different room. So I don't want to live here no more. I want to go somewhere else. I think that's kind of crazy to me. Now, I never thought I'd hear a panel full of conservatives nod their heads like, yeah, we need to get rid of this individualistic blah blah blah, whatever it is that brother man above me said. I think that's kind of crazy. Y'all embracing collectivism today? In final.
You made a lot of
final.
You made a lot.
Hang on. One more point. Just one more. And finally, if y'all want to use the bottom rungs, the projects and the ghetto and the hood and everything like that, if y'all want to say that is the totality of the Black community, there ain't nothing else that can be said. Y'all want to use the bottom of it and castigate it across everybody. I think that's unfortunate and foolish.
You know,
right.
I
know.
One thing she said.
She should have put her mask on. I mean, as much as you've terrorized us, let's say in the month of March, that might have been the biggest bomb you dropped. That might have been.
She dropped a huge bomb, but the mistake she made is this, right? Which I missed the target, because what she didn't say right was this. We were all saying some. We never said all Black people. We said some.
Okay, which the Black community is a generality. Now, if you want to say it, go ahead.
So you not only did you miss the target, so now you're going to international jail because you done bombed the wrong target. You made a lot of false parallels. You said men ruined the home or whatever. Pick an argument, because men weren't in the home to ruin it. So I don't know what you mean.
No, I didn't say. I use it as an analogy as far as messing up a room and participating in messing up the room, and then you want to go and move somewhere else.
Let me say this. Do you know why the wrongs done? Do you know why the wrongs done in the Black community are pretty much the worst in history? There is no time in human history when an ethnic group has been destroyed and it not be anything but the fault of the men. Black women have to take at least 50% for the first time in history. The destruction of an ethnic group was caused by the female gender.
I never said anything different. I said you helped in. Hold on. That means that women were participating as well.
I didn't interrupt. The actions, and the reason I say that, the action of women without the influence of men is what is destroyed. So women, like literally,
we had influence of men.
There are songs that we can replay. Independent woman, meaning influence outside of the influence of a man, is what destroyed the Black community. So you can't say men went around and blah blah blah.
Sorry, I disagree.
And the other false parallel you made.
We can just listen to music and see that y'all help mess up the room.
You said in the context that we're talking about, you said that individuality
is the mess up the room or euphemism.
Hold on. You said the opposite of individuality is collectivism, not in the context that we use. We said individuality destroyed the Black community. What we're making the opposite of what we're talking about is family orientation, marriage-minded people. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about collectivism as a strategy for conservatism. We're talking about family orientation and marriage mindset under religion, if necessary. That is what conservatism is about. So you just made a bunch of false parallels there. I couldn't even.
I can't wait for us to have that sit down talk, Callie.
All right, that's what's up. I ain't scared of you neither, Chris.
All right, Danielle Dorsey, you got any final thoughts on this? Danielle, just looking there. You see what I'm saying? She just out there. Who you making food for? You just let us know. If we have a terrorist, we need equal femininity on the panel today.
Because you ain't getting it from Cali.
Not today.
Sorry, I work during the day. I cook at night.
So.
You knew she had to respond to that in true terrorist fashion.
That's
You had to
okay.
respond.
We got her doing her
Alright.
nails. That's what we got.
No, it's
You have
Ramadan,
any-
so I'm cooking in the daytime because we eat it.
That's what
So
I.
it's
Hey,
your
we
turn.
love to see it. It's your turn. Do you have any final thoughts?
I think that if Black women, I do agree that it is. I would say it's more than 50%, but you were being nice, and that's okay. That
Yeah,
Black
I was being
women,
nice too.
yeah, you were being nice. Black, and that's good. That's nice. Black women need to submit, and I'm not saying that submit to the man, yes, but they need to submit to being a woman, like a real woman. Like men can't have babies, no matter how the trannies and sorry, I don't know if that's gonna mess up your
That's a
channel.
good word.
Whatever people, all the liberals believe, they can't do it. Y'all just can't do it. I see videos of crying. Oh, I wish I could have a baby. I gotta dilate my pus pouch, and I'm like, you can't do any of this. Like, so real men are not complaining about being women. So why do women want to be men so bad? I just don't understand. I do believe that women need to just submit to being a woman. There's nothing wrong with cooking. There's nothing wrong with cleaning. There's nothing wrong with submitting to your man. There's nothing wrong with that because it makes you happy. I'm not saying that you can't work, because I know a lot of wives that work, but that doesn't mean that, if I work, I can't do this when I get home. Girl, please. Yes, you can, because you would do it for your kids. So why not do it for the man that's gonna have your best interest at heart? That's insane. I just don't understand that. But
we got to stop the show right now.
I mean, yeah, we're going to. So listen. Tomorrow, Miss Danielle and Callie Bev, if you're gonna come on tomorrow's show, you're gonna have to be regular Callie Bev, not Super Saiyan Callie Bev like we're seeing all like today. Not Super Saiyan. Tomorrow is
like
the feminine woman appreciation show. Okay, so you got to come on tomorrow. All right, we're gonna be.
Can I still wear my hoodie?
Yes.
You can still wear your hoodie.
Okay.
No, she can't wear. No. She can't wear a hoodie. She can't wear a hoodie showing femininity. She can do that. She can wear a hoodie in femininity to show feminine side of her.
We're just gonna be speaking praise on our women tomorrow. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you,
I'll be here.
YouTube Cali feminine, I gotta see it.
Yeah, she should put a wrapper on.
She comes in spurts.
In fact, no, we want to see a moo on tomorrow. Go get a moo.
What time? No, real talk though, Trigger. What time you coming on tomorrow for real?
Like 11:30 ish.
Yeah. Okay.
That's Central.
Eastern.
Central.
Central. Okay. All right.
All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody on the panel for coming on today. Thank y'all so much. I will see y'all tomorrow. Let me get these super chats out of the way. Rasta says, I retired last year from the Army, 22 years, retirement, 100% VA, 57K a year job. Bought a laser for retirement as my side hustle. My man, that's what I'm talking about. Do y'all know what 100% VA is? Go look it up. I'm not even going to tell you. 57K per year plus 100%, but y'all say black men don't get money. Y'all get out of here. Sean Gray, $5. These kind of conversations are like a band playing on the Titanic while it's sinking. Well, we're going to have it. Last African, show the last African to the door. He's a part of the community that we must leave behind. We can't be mentally crippled people, only hinder progress. Sean Gray, $10. Appreciate that. We are supposed to be talking about real topics and we're debating how others should lump us together. It's an abstract term. Who cares? Tahuti Ra, $2. We need to get back on subject. This is pointless. This was a good topic till it got derailed. I'm embarrassed. I shared this topic now. John the Baptist, $5. I say it often. If we real build, we need God first and make it a patriarchal rule, and women can never be equal to men in rulings. I don't think anybody's arguing with that, bro. After you've seen what's happened to this community in its totality. Let's see. Last African sent a super chat. I'm sorry. Real Pookie says conservative black men equals blame black women equals victim Olympics. You know what? Hold black women accountable is better. Thank y'all for coming into the Trigger Mike show today on the Lapeef Network. Tonight, we got the big show. Okay, tonight we got the big show. Lapeef Let's Talk. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications if you want to see that show. Tonight's going to be a big one. Make sure you're present for it. We got one of your favorite new panelists on tonight. Just confirmed. Okay. Stay tuned and come on and see who that is. So one of your favorite new panelists is coming on tonight on the Lapeef Let's Talk show. We really appreciate everything y'all do, man, and appreciate all your support, all of the super chats. You know, running these networks is really hard, and you, the people, keep us afloat. Thank you for your contribution. All right. Ooh, somebody guessing in the chat who the panelist is tonight. All right. But yep, we appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Tomorrow is Feminine Woman Appreciation Day or Appreciation Show. So we talk so much trash all the time, and we can get on our soapbox a little bit because I'm gonna be honest, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated with the behavior I see from women, but every once in a while we got to reprogram. We got to let women know that it's not just those women we giving attention to. We got to give attention to the wives, to the women like Danielle that's on here cooking. Callie Bev when she's being nice, okay? We got to give appreciation to those women. Fantasy Island Girl when she's up here with her chi-chis, all right? Well, you know what I'm saying, but we got to give appreciation to all of those women that are out here doing the work and maintaining for the children the right way and for their men and their husbands. So tune in tomorrow for the Feminine Appreciation Show. All right, we're going to do that for you. Trigger Mike, this was a great topic. I'm signing off. I'm out. Catch y'all tomorrow.